Well, hello everyone. We're a little bit late here. We were setting up. We had some echo issues, and hopefully the echo issues are gone. It's like Star Wars. Echo base, echo base. You know. Christopher was here. Hopefully he's still here. Hopefully Christopher is still here, and some roads as well. I've actually been texting with some roads on the text line. So, but anyway, I called this the title of this show. What would you change about a sport, and then to make it better in your mind? And, because I've had a chance lately to sit down and watch some hockey, watch a little bit of baseball actually too, which I'm surprised
Oh,
at.
wow.
Yeah, I don't usually watch modern sports, and there's reasons why I don't really dig it. But every now and then I'll sit down, and I don't usually watch a full game, but I'll watch a few. And Sundays, if I'm exhausted and I'm home on Sundays like I was today, I'm just clicking the remote. I actually put on the NFL Network and just watch them whip around the league, and that's just what I do. But uh, basketball, a couple of thoughts on that. So those are the four major sports. The other sports I don't know much about, but excuse me, as Jeff comes by. But I thought there'd be a fun little discussion tonight here. Is kind of we have all four major sports almost ready to go. Basketball is kind of in preseason now, I think. So we have the hockey up and running, football's up and running, baseball's in the postseason. So I thought it'd be a fun little discussion here tonight to talk about what are some of the things. Pick one thing. If you could take one thing, so you're the commissioner of the league, okay? You're the commissioner of the league, and I'm talking to Joe, and I'm talking to everybody else here in the chat room. So you're the commissioner of the league, and they say, "Okay, commissioner, you can change one thing, and no matter what it is, we're changing it because you're the commissioner. We're not even going to put it to a vote. You are given carte blanche or whatever it's called.
Final say.
You have the final say to change one thing. So you're kind of on the spot here, Joe."
No, I know exactly what I would change.
All right, so we'll start with you. We'll start with you, Joe. So what's one thing that you would and what sport is it, first of all?
Baseball.
Okay, so it's baseball. So Joe's the new commissioner of the MLB. He's been sworn in, and as a gesture, a sign of good faith, he said, "Joe, we have our trust in you. We're putting our full trust in Joe, and Joe is going to be able to make one change, and we can't argue with it, and that's the way it is." What's the change that Commissioner Joe is going to make to baseball?
The ghost runner gone.
You're going to take the ghost runner out. Okay.
Terrible. At the time, okay, there's a little history behind it, and a lot of people have forgotten it.
Hang on a second. Hang on. All right, we got some history.
A little history, okay. During COVID,
okay,
they had to shut down minor league baseball.
Okay.
So they came up with the ghost runner when a game was tied, because they didn't want to tax the pitchers, because they couldn't go down to the minor leagues. Say a pitcher got injured, or he was tired, his arm they couldn't pull a pitcher up from AAA.
Okay.
So they came up with the ghost runner, and it made a lot of sense. But they never did away with it when the minor leagues came back. And I think now it's just a bush league. Like, what is this, Little League? Starting with a guy on second because they can't stay up too late to play. I would get rid of the ghost runner. I hate it.
Well, let me ask you this, and we're just talking here.
No,
okay,
yeah, the devil's advocate guy.
Yeah, well, baseball's not my sport. Okay, for many different reasons. I enjoy playing it on my tabletop. I do, but it's really I got to play with the seasons that I really care. Like, so my question is that. And it's almost relates to the hobby in a certain way.
Okay.
Whereas, how are you going to get new fans involved if you want to cater to the old fuddy-duddy crowd and you don't want to introduce new things? Let's face it, it's a sped-up world. We don't go down to Radio Shack and order our stereos and wait 2 weeks for them to come in. They're in the next day from Amazon. It's a different world. Everything's sped up. We have drive-thrus now. Everything's online. The games need to speed up. I have trouble watching a baseball game right now because I sit there and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm 15 minutes in. He's thrown 2 pitches and I'm out of my mind. And I just can't sit there anymore. So you got younger crowds coming up. They're on their phones. They can't, everything's 5 seconds or less. You want to get them involved in baseball. And I think that's what they've done. They've done the pitch clock. They've done the ghost runner. A regular season game in July You don't want to be going 15 innings if it's a night game. People got to work in the morning. It's a Wednesday night, and
Well,
it's 1 in the
that's
morning. It's
part
like,
of excuse me, that's part of the problem too. That's
so
what, and I get
how
it. I get
how
it.
do
I get that they're trying to bring the young people in. I get it. But I just feel that there's just certain things like the pitch clock. At first, when I heard it, I was like, I think it's the greatest thing because I think it's on an average, it's sped up a game like 35 to 40 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. My numbers could be off, but I know games that were taking over 3 hours are now going 2.5 since the pitch clock. But the ghost runner is not and that affects every game, the pitch clock. The ghost runner is not something that affects every game. Maybe I'm too old school, too nostalgic. I think it's great. A 1-1 game, boom, going into extra innings tied. That's not happening every night in baseball. Pitching, yes. So the pitch clock I could see, but the ghost runner, I just find no excuse for it anymore. I can't see it. I
what
guess
would
maybe
now
I'm
what
just too old school.
now? But again, this is what we're talking about. You're the old school guy. Um, how do you get young people in? How do you get the teens in the 20s and the early 30s, and how do you get them involved? How do you get them watching? How do you get them to go to a game when this is a vastly different world than it was
Uh,
when you were that age?
Honestly, Dave, when I was that age, it was affordable to go to a game. Today, you're not gonna. You want to get the young people in, and you want to get the young families with kids, like I used to do with my kids. Make the games affordable. And I don't need to go pay $12 for a hot dog if I got a family of four. So if they're really, it's really about bringing the young people in. Then you got to make it affordable because the young people are not going to spend that kind of money.
I think
It
that's
all
yeah,
became corporate.
yeah. I think that's the big thing is getting the actual fan
Yes,
in the seats, and very few fans get to the game. Usually it is the corporations. It's, I don't know how many times I don't go to many Bruins games anymore, and it's been years, but I would either go or I hear stories about people going and the people next to them were just talking business the entire game,
right.
and they weren't
True.
following along, they weren't cheering. It was just all about spreadsheets and meetings, and it's just, so
It's funny you say that because when I was working before I was retired years ago when I was on Wall Street, go to a big Ranger fan, go to a hockey game. Yeah, I want seats on the blue line, center ice, fifth row. It got to the point sometimes where, like you just said, the two guys in suits are sitting next to me. It's a 1-1 game. The goalie's getting peppered, and they're sitting there talking about the stocks they bought. I got to the point where I started to say, you know what? I'm going to go upstairs and sit in the blue seats with the real fans again.
yeah, yeah. Yep. So yeah, that's just one thing I was thinking about. So you want to get rid of the ghost run. Let's go to the chat here. So what we're talking about today, folks, is and what's one thing you would change about a sport? And again, we're asking all the sports. You don't have to have just pick one. You can pick many different sports. What's one thing you would change? And it says fun topic. There's much I would like to change back about baseball. Okay, as Jeff comes by as well. Some Road says he'd like the pitch clock gone, and he's also not a fan of the ghost runner. Um, I don't know what I feel about the ghost runner. I don't watch enough baseball to have an opinion on that. I have watched a little bit. I do like the pitch clock because there's
Mhm.
just no need for the amount of time between pitches it was taken back in the
Agreed.
day. I just think that there's no need for that. It's just, even when I play video games or when I used to play video games, it was just like, you could like after the football play, you could see them going in the huddle, but just
Mm,
you just hit the skip button.
right. It's true.
You play the baseball game. It's fault. You hit the skip button. And just get up to the plate. I want to hit the ball. So you skip away a lot of that stuff. But I do think that basically well, at least what I've seen with hockey and football, they've trimmed the time downs, which is kind of nice.
Definitely.
You know, uh, football used to be a 3.5 hour thing. Now they got between 3 and 3:15, I think, which is kind of nice. And hockey is a little over 2 hours now. If a 7:05 game happens, you can probably get it done by 9:15, which is pretty good now. So they have done some good things about that. Ryan says he likes the topic, so we'll see what Ryan has to say. And Joseph C says, "Get the Jets out of the NFL." That's one change he would make. Well, it would definitely make it better. That's for sure. You know, um, and I think Keith agrees with you on the Ghost Runner. And Jeff says the pickoff attempt rule needs to be bagged. I'm not sure what that rule is, but you can only throw
Yeah,
over so many times.
I think I know what he's, and I'm not 100% sure on it, but I think I know what he's alluding to. It's something to do with a lead. After you make 2 pickoff attempts, you can't anymore. I don't know if it's 2, it might be 3, but
So
you're limited to the pickoff attempts you can make.
so
So
what
now a guy
happens
can steal.
after 2 pickoff attempts, the guy could take a 10-foot lead, right?
Exactly.
Now,
So I agree with that
could he
one too.
throw it to like the second baseman instead of the first baseman?
I don't know what exactly. I don't watch
I
much
mean,
modern baseball
I
either
I
anymore,
remember
as
that
much
rule.
as I'm a Mets fan.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird because now it's like if I'm on base, you've thrown over twice, I'm taking the monstrous lead I
You
could
bet.
take. And now I know you can't throw over there, so I could go halfway between the bases, right?
Exactly.
And theoretically, I mean, they must have some kind of a rule for that though, to say that you can't just like walk to second base and now you can't be out. That they should be able to throw it somewhere to get you out. I would I would think that
I
they
would
would have
think.
thought. I would think they had thought that through to say, look, if this guy decides to take a 30-foot lead off of first base, then there's got to be a way to throw him out.
hmm
Maybe the pitcher
Maybe
runs at him.
somebody that's watching knows. They can
Yeah, yeah,
put it up.
yeah.
I
So
don't know
anybody,
100%.
yeah. So anybody watching here that's smarter than me, that knows baseball more, which is probably all of you guys. What is the contingency pickoff rule after you've thrown over twice? There's got to be a way to prevent the guy from taking a 30-foot lead, right? I would think so. Enzo says remove interleague play. No, see, I agree. I disagree with that. I vehemently disagree with that. The idea of getting to see every player come to your home park is a big deal. When I grew up with hockey,
That's a good point.
there were seasons that Gretzky never came
hmm
to Boston. There were seasons that we didn't see the Oilers. We didn't see the Kings. There were some great players, Timo Solani out there. There was so many times that they would alternate years sometimes. Like one year Boston goes to Edmonton, the
Yes,
next
I
year
remember
Edmonton
when they
comes to
did
Boston.
that.
And it was just like, so every 2 years you could see the greatest player in the league play. But yet Calgary and Winnipeg are going to see him 37 times during a season. So for me, the idea at least play everybody once. That gives you a chance to see everybody in the league.
Okay.
I remember, when I was growing up, and when you could get Bruins tickets, back in I think it was like the 80s or the 90s or late 90s, whatever it was. And I would look at the schedule and I was like, okay, who do I want to go see them play? Well, they play Quebec 15 times, Buffalo 15 times, Montreal 15 times. You couldn't get the Montreal tickets, but
No.
Hartford 15 times. So the teams in their division, they played like 15 home. It felt like 15 home games. And then it's like, well, I want to see the other teams. I want to see St. Louis. I want to see Brett Hull come to town. I want to see, the Flyers come in like once or twice. It's like, and you would play. So you would play the Sabres, the Whalers, and the Canadians, and the Nordiques, because I think we had 5 teams in the division. So you play those 5 teams like a combined 60 times, it felt like. And then you'd play them in the playoffs.
True.
And it was just like you didn't get to see any other team. So when they opened it up to play everybody, even in baseball, I like that because I never saw the National League as a kid. And I've told that story on the podcast.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah, I never saw the National League except if they had, Monday Night Baseball or I don't know if it was Saturday afternoon baseball with Joe Garagiola, and they'd have a game of the week. But without my baseball cards, I didn't know anybody in the National League.
Good point.
And because they never came to Fenway. Now I could tell you everybody on the Tigers and the Indians and the Yankees because we played them 73 times.
Right.
So for me, no, I think it's important to play everybody and to see everybody in the league. And, because especially now, because that's what they promote. It's like, no matter what sport it is, LeBron James or whatever, it's like, let's say LeBron James didn't play every team. He's going into, whatever town there.
If Aaron Judge goes into L.A., they're putting people in the seats.
Exactly.
And,
how
that's
do you,
what it's about. It's about money.
how do you
They're in business to make money, the owners. I'm not knocking that. So it makes sense.
Do you think the Tampa Bay Devil Rays would still be around if they weren't bringing in stars from other teams? No one goes to their games. It's usually a home game for the away team. There's no one. You bring in like a mediocre team against Tampa Bay, and no one's going. The Yankees and the Red Sox and the Dodgers go in there, and they're drawing fans. So for
That's a
me,
good point, Dave, about would a team draw, and what came to mind when you said that the opening game this year. I'm a Florida Gators fan. The opening game they played like a Catholic school college, like a no name, and everybody was like, "What did they do that? They helped that college draw people to make money, so
you know,
they'd survive the season."
Ron used to say that when I used to talk to Ron about that. I said, Ron, what's the sense of Notre Dame in week one playing Central Catholic
Right,
Pennsylvania and destroying them 72-0? I said, what's the sense in that? And he says it helps those little schools. It really does.
makes money.
Even when
Yeah,
they get destroyed, and it says, how does that help getting destroyed? It's kind of like saying, well, the New York Rangers are going to play the the I don't know
the Flatbush Avenue
yeah,
Warriors, right?
the Broom City Dusters, and they're going to win 17-0 against the Broom City Dusters against a minor league team. It's just like, how does that help anybody?
And it does. That makes the money.
But it does, and I always joke about it because it's like the first few weeks of
Mhm.
college football. It's like there's nothing to watch because it's teams I've never heard of, and all
Right.
the games are 72-0. It feels that way. I know it's not, but it feels that way. And so now you get some better matchups. And I was watching some teams that I actually knew, Indiana and Ohio and Georgia. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
now there's some teams I know. And so last night when I get home from work and I was chilling out, I was like watching some highlights of teams I knew. And we had, like, I would scroll around last night. It was like 10 o'clock when I get home from work. And I was like, wow, we're in the fourth quarter and it's 17-10. It's
Right,
24-20. It's not 72-3. 65-10. It's most of the games are already over with. And some roads chimes in says baseball has been sped up too much. They're giving you less product, but trying to convince you that less is what you want. Baseball is a glass of lemonade on the porch on a sunny afternoon. You sip it. Well, that's what Bob Costas said. Bob Costas says baseball is a conversation. Okay, baseball is like reading a good book. In 2020, in 2025, are we having full conversations? Are we reading books anymore? Largely, I don't think we are. I think you get the ebooks now. You listen while you're doing something else.
If I'm reading and if I'm reading a book about baseball, it's about Willie Mays, Ted Williams. It's nothing about today. So he's right. There's no conversations going on about today's game.
So again, has the game got to a point it needs to adapt to society? I mean, Kentucky Fried Chicken, the story with that is people would go to fast food places and they'd wait 15 or 20 minutes to get their chicken when they went to these places. And Colonel Sanders devised a way to make that chicken in 7 to 8 minutes.
Yes.
And that was a game changer for fast food, especially with the fried chicken. And people lined up because they could get their food twice as fast as the next place. And he adapted to what needed to be. And even now, McDonald's and Burger King, you drive through Wendy's, whatever it is, you're going to get your stuff fairly quickly. You're not waiting 10 minutes. I mean, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Is that, you get your stuff pretty quick. Sometimes it's real fast. Sometimes you pull up and it's 2 minutes. It's like, how did you do that? But I got my burger and I'm going out the door in 2 minutes. So I think you have to adapt to the times. And excuse me, much like our hobby, when it's just like, well, this is the way it's been for 30 years. Are you bringing in any new customers? Or are you still relying on the old people who are getting older and then maybe not ordering as much anymore?
And what did our hobby evolve into in the last couple of years? Express games. So that's a very good analogy. Our hobby went into express games.
Yep. So let's see here. Mr. Clay drops by. Yeah, I bet he has a ton of things he'd like to change. But yeah, we're asking just, give us one thing again. So you're commissioner of the league. And I just asked Joe that you're commissioner of the league and you've been told you can change one thing about a sport. Pick your sport. You're the commissioner. You can change one thing and it's not brought up to a vote. It's a done deal. So, and I got a few of mine here that I'll bring up as well. And Summerall says he thinks they're trying to make baseball more appealing to the people that would never like it. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think they're trying to appeal to people who might be on the fence about it, who are used to different sports. Baseball is like you said, a slower sport. It's reading a book. It's that glass of lemonade. not many people sit on the porch and have that glass of lemonade anymore. It's a different society than it was when we were kids.
It's the all American sport we grew up with, right? Baseball. Baseball was baseball. Apple pie, and hot dogs. The American thing. But I think it's slipped, and like you said, they're trying to bring those people on the fence to bring it back to what it was.
They're trying to make it exciting, and they're trying to keep those 15-inning games on a Wednesday night from happening by putting that guy on second base. I've never seen it in action because I haven't watched enough baseball to know if it works or not. I haven't even seen the pickoff. The only thing I've really seen, I did tune in a few times to see the pitch clock, and I did like that was sped up a little bit.
The other thing, Dave, growing up, and we're not far in age, so we're kind of almost the same. Growing up, I remember as a kid on a weekend, a Saturday, a Sunday, or in the summertime, home from school, you saw baseball games, day games, World Series.
Yeah.
On a weekend, a Saturday afternoon World Series. So I grew up watching the World Series.
Yep.
Not today. Everything's late. I mean, your kids got to go to school. The young kids today are not getting inbred with the sport.
Well, that is the thing. Yeah, because I know when the Bruins used to play in the playoffs when I was a kid, I could watch the first period.
Yeah.
And then by quarter of 8, I'd have to be in bed. It's like, and I'd miss the whole game. And, if that game, started in the afternoon, I could watch the whole thing. And they did have a few Saturday and Sunday games, but most of the time it was night games. But yeah, I mean, even, let alone the kids, us, we used to get together all the time, back in the day, and we get together for Monday Night Football.
Right.
And I'd show up, and I've had my beer and my chips and, my hamburgers, and I'd be all set. And halftime, everybody get up and went home.
It's true.
Are we watching the game?
True.
It's like, no.
1973.
It's almost 11 o'clock. We're going home. We're going to bed. It's like, it's halftime. It's like, we got to work in the morning.
1973, Mets playing A's in the World Series. Okay. It was a day game. In school, I go to school. It was, I don't even remember what grade, but it was elementary school. And I had a transistor radio, and I put it in my pants, and I ran the wire.
The headphones?
Get away from the teacher.
Yeah.
And she's teaching class, and this is a true story. And she came walking up to me, and she tapped me on the shoulder, and I was like, "Oh, I'm mad."
What's the score?
That's exactly what she did. She took me, "What's the score?" She was a huge Mets fan.
That is awesome. That is
awesome. That's a true story. And I loved her after that. I did.
Oh my God. That is so cool. That is so cool. So let's get back to the chat here. Jeff says, Joe hit the nail on the head. You can't afford to go to any pro games anymore. Very powerful when youngsters see the game in person. I think that's true. I think when you see it in person, it's a little bit different.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Enzo. We're just not on the same page, me and Enzo. I will disagree about that. I think the overtime 3-on-3 is some of the most exciting hockey I've ever watched. It really is. And years ago, when Vegas came into the league and they had all these young kids, I would be praying for the Vegas games to go to overtime because those 3-on-3 with those young kids circling around in and out of the zone, it felt like a roller hockey game. It really did. It was about controlling the puck. There was no dumping in and chasing. It was controlling the puck, and that's what roller hockey is.
That wide open play.
Roller hockey is controlling the puck at all costs. It's not dumping in. It's controlling it. And when you make a line change, you curl back, and everybody changes. And it's just like this big circle happening. And when I see that, and then you go in, and then when finally somebody takes the shot and they miss, it's a 2-on-1 the other way. And then they miss, and it's a 2-on-1 the other way. It is just wall-to-wall excitement, the 3-on-3 overtime. Shootout, we'll talk about that in a minute. But the 3-on-3 overtime, I will disagree with you that I love the 3-on-3 overtime. I really, really do. Let's see here. Clay says, I don't like how the NFL keeps making overtime more complicated. Mm-hmm. He goes, I would go back to sudden death. First score wins, but with one change. The home team wins the coin toss. See, I don't like the college overtime. I think that just goes on way too long. I like what they've got now. I truly think everybody should get one possession in overtime. I really do. No matter if you get the touchdown or not, everyone gets one possession. After that one possession, okay, so you win the coin toss and you score. I get it back and I score. So now it's your ball again. If I can't stop you a second time, then that's on me. It really is. And I think the 10-minute overtime really has kind of limited that third possession. If you get 2 sustained drives for 5 minutes, that's going to chew up your clock. So I do kind of like that, actually. I don't think there's any way, especially in the regular season, that you could do a fair overtime because it's a possession game. It's not like basketball or hockey where
Right.
anybody can control it at the same time. It's kind of like baseball saying, okay, the team comes up to bat. If they get a run, the game's over, and the other team never
you
gets an
gotta
at
give the
bat.
other team, and I
You
got
know,
no problem with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So football is one of those things that I always felt. I liked it when they said if you got a field goal, the game wasn't over. But I says you really need
No,
to make
see,
it.
I didn't like that.
Well, they were on the right track because before, if you hit a field goal, game was over.
Game was over.
Now they said if you hit a field goal, the other team still gets the ball. And then I feel they corrected it when they said if it no matter what happens on the first drive, the other team gets the drive.
Yeah.
And at the end of those 2 drives, if someone's ahead, then that's it. The game's
Yeah.
over. And I like how you can win it on a defensive play too. Like you can come up with a defensive stop. So I do like that. But at some point, you have to end the game. And so if I get a possession, then you get a possession, then I get a third possession, and I win it on that third possession, then you should have stopped me on one of them.
Each team getting one chance.
Yeah, so each team should get the ball once. So that I do like. So I will disagree with Clay on that one there. And Christopher says, I like the pitch clock in MLB. I don't like the 2 disengagements rule in MLB. Free runner, I could take or leave it for the regular season. And Christopher says here, all right, I'll spill the beans on my hockey. I agree with Christopher.
Shootout.
Yes. The shootout was fun for about a half hour. It was. And I remember when they had it, I was going to minor league hockey games when they first announced the shootout. And I remember that in the preseason, they had a preseason game, and they said, we're going to do the shootout no matter what the score is in the preseason so you guys can see what it is. So the game ended 4-2 or whatever it was, and they set up for the shootout. It's like, oh, that's kind of neat. So the NHL did it, because I think that all came about from the Olympics. So there was some kind of international tournament that was pretty exciting. And they said, we're going to capture that spirit for the NHL. And for the first half of the season, it was like people couldn't wait to get to the shootout. It was fun.
It's like watching a penalty shot again.
Yeah,
Right.
and then after that, after we got used to it, and I would, for me, what I would do is I would go 10 minutes 3-on-3, and if it's tied, it's tied. We go home. That would be my NHL. Get rid of the shootout.
10-minute. They used to do 10-minute overtimes before
Before the war. Yeah.
Yes, they did 10-minute overtimes.
And
And
you
then
could
the war, they stopped it because of the trains. They couldn't travel
Yeah.
late on the trains.
Yep. I would even. I don't want to muddy it up too much, but I would even say that if somebody scored a goal in the first 5 minutes, that you continue on.
Now, see, I like the 5-minute sudden death.
And then make the last 5 minutes sudden death.
Yeah.
So that way there, if you play 3-on-3 and somebody scores, it's not over, and you still have the chance to tie it.
And I can't stand you get a point for losing.
No, I'm okay with it. I'm okay if
Nah,
you get
I
to
hate
overtime. Well, you know why they changed that is because when they first started the overtime, it was a 5-minute overtime.
5-minute sudden death, right? And whoever won got the point.
Yeah, and the other team got nothing. So what would
Nothing, got the
happen
2
is
points, right.
is nobody really tried to score. Everybody played defense because nobody wanted to lose the point. And so they said,
Okay.
well, what if you don't lose the point, but you can gain one? Now you can go for it,
Okay.
and you're not going to get punished for that. And so after so many years of boring overtimes where just nothing happened, and the teams are like, yeah, we're just going to hang on to the puck and take our point and go home. Well, what if you weren't going to lose the point? And now you could take the rush up the ice. And if they went down and scored, they got the point, but you didn't lose one. So that's why they changed that. And I was okay with that. I really was okay with that. So I'll go. I'm behind on the chat, but I'll get this. We've been talking. So I would dump the shootout. I would go to the 3-on-3 for 10 minutes, and I would even consider, a goal in the first 5 minutes or 6, whatever it is, to not end the game. I would only have a go ahead goal in the final, say 5 minutes or so to be the, have that magic point there. That if it's still tied going in after 5 minutes, then that next goal is going to be the game
how
winner.
about this? How about like you said, let's say the Rangers playing the Bruins, go to overtime, 3-on-3. Bruins score, okay? If the Rangers don't come back and score before 5 minutes, then they lose the game.
or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yep. Just don't end it on that because 3-on-3 is really exciting. It really is,
it
and I don't
is.
want it to go to 3-3-on-3. But that so Enzo comes back and he says you're allowed 3 pickoffs, but you must get the out on the third one or it's a balk.
Oh, okay.
So they did
Wasn't
think
sure.
that through. Okay.
Okay.
So if you don't get him out, then he gets the base. Okay, I like that. Okay, that's a good idea. Also, the disengagements reset with each batter. I don't know what that means. I don't know what disengagement reset. I don't know what that means. Um, and yeah, and I would go back to ties in hockey too. I would say that if you played the entire 10-minute 3-on-3 overtime and it was a tie, stays a tie. I thought ties were good. You know, the 3-point games, as they call them, are kind of tough. But yeah, I would stick. I would stick with the tie. That was the second part of my thing. Get rid of the shootout. Go to 3-on-3. Extend that to either 7, 8, or 10 minutes. You know, go beyond 5 because it's exciting. If you go to 10 minutes, then you probably go a little bit deeper on the bench because guys are getting more tired because it's 3-on-3. So, excuse me, you will see more people out there, and maybe make it not a sudden death. Maybe make it that if you score the goal in the first whatever minutes, split it in half. 5, you score the goal in the first 5 minutes. We play on, and the other team has that chance to tie it in those 10 minutes. A goal scored after the 5-minute mark or any go-ahead goal in the second 5 minutes. Maybe Joe, XHL.
Yeah.
XHL
You
rules.
got to get Keith on the show now.
Oh man, I gotta write that down here. Write that down. So my overtime. I'm gonna put that Dave's OT rules.
Yeah, that's, you know what, I like that for the XHL. I kind of
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, that could be something to try it out with too. So
So you got the pregame shootout. So let's just say,
see, I would get for me, I wouldn't do it. For the roller hockey version. I wouldn't do that.
you wouldn't do the pregame shootout?
No, because I want to get rid of the shootouts. I don't like the shootouts. I
No,
don't
so
think.
what the pregame is, you're not shooting against the goalie. Each team is taking a shot at a target. And if they hit the target, then the next team, there's no goalie, no save. That's
I didn't.
the way it's written.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so, and what I like, it's funny, Vinny and I were discussing that today because he said the same thing. I don't know if I'd use it. I says, yeah, but he goes, I said, game is tied, okay? We'll do Rangers Bruins, okay? Game is tied. Rangers won the pregame shootout. So now you're the Bruins. There's 3 minutes left in the game. You win the you get a shot off one of the results where you can go for a 2-point shot. Strategy: if I tie the game, I lose. Right? I tie the game, I lose. So I'm going to go for that 2-point shot. So it brings some strategy into the game a lot of times.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's it. I haven't got to it yet, and I've been reading.
Yeah, I
on
was
it.
saying to Vinny,
do that.
you and Vinny, you got to get on the table.
I know. Clay comes back and says it would make teams care more about home field advantage, and home field in a Super Bowl would mean something. He goes, I've added this option to Football Mogul, and he said it works. I need to get Clay on. I need to go over to Football Mogul with him. I had some questions for him about playing games and could I play more than one team and set it up like that. So I need to get him on to show me that again.
Can I bring up something about football? Something
Yeah.
that, and it's not a rule I could never understand. Okay. Giants are playing on Sunday, right? And they play again on Thursday. They got 3 days rest.
Right.
Why doesn't the NFL, if you got a Thursday game, like if I have a game this coming Thursday, you get a bye week. Why not make the Sunday before the bye week for a team that's going to play on next Thursday?
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yep. That does make sense. Although I think after the Thursday game, if they would get 10 days off instead of the 6.
You do either way.
So you get a short week and then you get a long week.
Yeah, but that short week, I coach semi-pro football. You got injuries and stuff. That's tough to recover in 2 days.
Yeah. I'm actually okay with Thursday night football. I didn't think I would be, and I didn't think I would like it on Amazon Prime, but it almost works because Thursday nights I'm usually just kind of chilling out at the house, at least till I start my Thursday night league. And but I'll be sitting there watching something on TV, and I'll have my iPad out, and I'll have Amazon Prime streaming a football game on the iPad. So I have a picture-in-picture. So I have been enjoying it more than I thought I would, and I hated that when they first said that.
I don't mind Thursday night football, and that's what the NFL channel was actually made for put games Thursday night. I didn't like when they went to Amazon Prime, But you see what happened this year, right? Your local game you could see
Okay,
if you
yeah.
have Amazon, because it happened with the Giants Eagles the other night.
Okay, good, yeah.
Philadelphia, we were able to see our local game. We didn't have to have so
Oh,
that
good.
I could say
Yeah.
okay with. I could accept that.
What I don't like is the 2 Monday Night Football games. I don't like that because if you think about it now, it's like they want you to buy the NFL package so you can get all the games, right?
Of course.
Well, now you got a game on Thursday that's not part of the package. You got, sometimes 2 Sunday night games. Or no, you got one Sunday night game,
one Sunday,
and then 2 Monday Night Football games. So there's 4 games that are not part of the main package now on Sunday because they're on other times. So they've really watered down that football package, because before you'd have the one
Right.
Sunday night and one Monday night. Well, now you get 2 other games at least going on right now that you're getting gypped from watching in the package. So now you're getting less games in that football package. So there's no incentive for me to buy that whatsoever, and unless I'm such a fan
You're
of
a
one
fantasy
particular
guy.
team. Yeah,
Right.
fantasy guy, one particular team, or I got a relative on a team out in
Yeah.
whatever team that's not, I don't get to watch, then that's fine. But just as a fan, it's like when it was just one Sunday night, one Monday night game, and all the other games you had to choose from, and then so you got Thursday, right? So there's one game, and then you got Sunday night, and then you got Monday. So there's 3 games, right? Plus the games that you get locally. So I usually get 3 games locally. So there's 6 games now every week that I can watch, right? 6 games for me to watch. So why would I get the package? What for the other? What?
Don't let the NFL hear you, because they'll stop showing games.
But I mean, it's like, but why would you
I know
want
what you're saying.
So you get 6 games you get to watch every week for free. Not for free, but that are not in the package, right? There's 6 games. Thursday, the 3 on Sunday night, and 2 on Monday. So 7 now. There's 7. So right now there's 7 games are not in the package. So almost half the games are not in that package. So why would you buy that package right now? And the other thing I don't like is when I was getting the NHL package, I couldn't watch the Bruins.
No, you can't watch your local team.
I mean, I'm paying. I'm giving you money. I
agree.
want it all in one place. Why can't I watch the Bruins, the Nesson feed up here? Why can't I watch that? I'm paying you for that.
I agree. I don't get that.
Give me the feed. Give me the Nesson feed with all the local commercials on it. I'm okay with all that. I don't want to have to go to 4 different places to watch these games. Oh, it's on ESPN. Can't watch it. Oh, it's on NHL Network. Can't watch it. Why would I buy the NHL package then if I'm missing out on all these games?
I think the reason they black out the local is to protect the local stations with advertisers.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Lose money.
Give me that feed.
Yeah, true. Okay. True.
I don't know. All right, so back to the chat room here. Clay says, on the throwover rule, you're allowed a third row if the runner's out. So you still can't take a 30-foot lead. Okay, good. Yeah, somebody else explained that too, so I'm kind of happy with that. A third pickoff, you must pick him off, and if not, he's awarded second base. Okay, so they did think it through. I figured they would.
Okay.
They did think it through. And Rupert comes by. Rupert, they used to only play team in your division a bunch of times to keep travel costs down. I get that. I get that it's about travel and it's about saving money and all this other stuff. But you can't promote your stars if you're saving money. Do you think, again, if
owners want the best of both worlds.
If Michael
can't have the best of both worlds.
Do you want Michael Jordan coming to play in your arena or not? If you're saying, no, it's going to cost too much money to send the Chicago Bulls to to play the Clippers in LA. So Michael Jordan will never play the Clippers or the Lakers or anybody like that. That makes no sense. Gretzky not traveling around and playing every rink. That's a crime. True. That's a sports crime right there. It really is. And Christopher here. Oh boy, we're kind of hitting on all cylinders here, me and Christopher. The 3-point shot is too easy. Hence, why teams have designed their strategies around. Okay, I'll jump in next with so the hockey for me is get rid of the shootout. Get rid of the shootout in hockey. That would be my thing as commissioner, and I might even consider that overtime, expanding the overtime, and then calling it a tie. So that would be my hockey thing. For basketball, going right along with what Christopher said, the 3-point shot, something has to be done about that. I don't know what it is, and I didn't believe it till I saw the finals. I actually watched one of the finals the other night, and it was just guy runs up to the hoop, turns and fires at the 3-point land. They took all the shots. And I guess technically it makes more sense to try all 3-point shots all night than it does to try the 2-point shots. Considering the amount of times that you hit that and then the amount of points you get, you still come out on top doing it that way. Maybe the only thing they could do with basketball is to penalize you for missing the 3-point shot. Remember in football, if you threw a forward pass and it didn't work, you were penalized for that? There was, back in the day, the football, they had a forward pass, and if you didn't complete a forward pass, it was some kind of a penalty or something like that. Maybe something like that.
Or, and I'm not a big basketball fan. I know the sport. I used to watch it when I was more as a kid. Or if you see, like you just said, how they're going almost to the net and then they're passing it out to the 3-point. If you go in the paint and you pass it out, it's not a 3-point shot.
Oh, that's even a good idea too. Yeah. So once you go inside, if you throw it back
you could
out,
pass it to that guy, but it's only 2 points.
No matter where he is, boy, I like that. Yeah. So you can't go inside the paint.
And pass it out for a 3-point shot.
Yeah, so that way you're on the perimeter the whole time. Yeah, that's another way to think about that. Yeah, so that would be some kind of a penalty. Yeah, so whereas that way they just couldn't take 3 points all night long.
Right.
I thought maybe after your 5th miss or your 3rd miss in a row or something like that, maybe the other team gets a technical foul or one of
or they become 2 points. They're not worth 3 points anymore. Maybe
the guy that misses the shot gets a foul, and it counts against his team fouls or his personal fouls to get kicked out of the game. I don't know, something just to prevent what's happening. And every sport does it. If you really think about it, every single sport has made adjustments to keep up with people gaming the system. Back in the day, if you remember hockey, you used to be able to, pin the puck against the boards with your skates and then kick the puck between your skates and keep it moving per se. And they couldn't blow the whistle because the puck was technically moving, even though you had it tied up. Well, now they made the rule. If you do that, it's going to be a delay game call.
Right.
So, and so they fixed that. They had the rule with, the hand passes. If you're in trouble, you hand pass to your teammate and you get a whistle. Now, well, you game in the system. So now the hand passes are allowed. So now we won't stop the whistle on a hand pass, So they've done things like that all throughout history to fix that. And I think they need to fix the basketball. And I like the idea of once you go inside, that's it. Or even my idea of, if you've missed so many in a row, or if this is the 10th 3-point shot that you've missed, it's a foul on the player or something like that, or a technical foul, something like that. It's got to be something like that to fix that. Clay also says that he's talking to someone. I agree, baseball is giving less product, partly by speeding it up, and also because there are fewer balls in play. Strikeouts are bad. Allowing teams to defer a kickoff decision after a coin toss in football never made sense. If you want to receive the second half, just lose the coin toss at the start. Well, you can't lose the coin toss. There's really no way to lose the coin toss. But I was always okay with that. If you want the last ups, like in baseball, you want the ball second. I don't really have a problem with that. And if it's a windy day or whatever kind of day it is, you get your choice of where you want to defend.
Bill Parcells made a living on that.
Yeah, I think he was one of the first guys to say, no, we want the ball second,
And he used to make them open the doors. The Giant Stadium, the old Meadowlands was so empty, he'd make them open the doors if the visiting team was facing that way.
I remember that. It's kind of weird that just opening a couple of doors would create that big of a thing, but it did, When we were going to the minor league games in Worcester, we sat right behind the net, and the seats were raised up, almost I think like Madison Square Garden. They were raised up, and so our feet were a crossbar height, if you can picture that. Okay, so we were looking down at the ice, and if we put our feet on the glass would sway because it was the tall glass. If when it was leaning back and the puck hit it, it would do something. And if we pushed forward on the glass, it would hit it at a different angle and it would do something different. So sometimes, depending on who had the puck and who was shooting it, we carefully put our feet on the glass to slide the glass forward, so if the shot went over the net, it would handle things a little bit differently. Yeah, it didn't do much, but every now and then we may or may not have affected a rebound. But it was minor league though, so it was minor leagues. And let's see, Christopher says too much 3 true outcomes in baseball: home run, strikeout, or walk. Larry says, where's Larry here? There's Larry. Talking baseball with his new Banana League. I think that stuff is a joke. You know something, though? That's what it's designed to be.
It's the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
It is. It's the Harlem Globetrotters.
It's entertainment.
And there's a lot of people that really get offended by that. We were just talking about bringing younger people in.
Mm-hmm.
Could that be the gateway? Could the Banana team be the gateway to get people to watch baseball because of the Harlem Globetrotters?
Dave, they're selling. You can't get a ticket. They sell out everywhere they go.
It's entertainment. It's wrestling. It's WWF wrestling.
Yeah,
it is not. It is not like going and watching Olympic wrestling. It is entertainment, and it's supposed to be fun. And these guys have a good time doing it, and they're playing baseball. But a lot of purists hate it. I remember Joe Bryan from Payoff Pitch. I go, we ever going to get the Bananas here and Payoff Pitch? He goes, no, I hate that stuff. So I take it that's a no. Is that a hard no? But yeah, I mean, people, the Globetrotters were so goofy, but you didn't go there to watch basketball.
No, you went to watch a show.
You got a show.
Right.
Exactly right. And Mike says, instead of attempting an onside kick, teams would get one down from its own 20-yard line to convert a 4th and 20. If they got it, they'd maintain possession.
That whole thing about telling the other team that you're going to attempt an onside kick, that is the most ridiculous thing.
Yeah, I get why they're doing it, because there was an injury. The kickoffs.
It's football.
Colleges are doing it.
It's football.
The surprise onside was so good. I like the surprise onside. A pitcher saying, "Hey, we're going to pass," or "Hey, we're going to blitz."
Really?
Just.
Well, pitcher, hold on, batter. I'm going to throw this one right down the pipe.
Yeah. I get that they're trying to prevent injuries. I get that, but it's football. I don't think you're going to prevent injuries in football. College still does it, so obviously it can't be that bad. But again, I'm not out there.
Right,
so who am I to say? But I don't like that. Barbara thought afternoon baseball was the best.
Yeah.
The only thing better than afternoon baseball is afternoon hockey. I'm going to say that.
Mm-hmm. Peter Puck.
Yeah, Peter Puck. Yes, it was. Some road says it's a different world. I'm just disappointed in about that in general. Yeah, I get that. And Christopher also says, I used to be against the idea of a pitch clock, but with all the walks and all the step-offs and stepping out of the box and calling people on the cell phone, they needed to do that. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I agree.
You remember when college basketball didn't have a shot clock? You couldn't watch it. They just sat there with the ball for 45 seconds to a minute. 3 minutes, never even taking a shot because they didn't have to.
Right.
And I remember growing up, it's like, I wasn't a huge basketball guy, but as I get into sports, I watched a little bit of basketball, and the college would come on, and it'd be people standing there. You remember Hoosiers with Hickory?
Yeah.
All they did in that game is sit on the ball for minutes at a time and let the clock tick away.
Great movie.
Because they knew they couldn't compete with the other team, so they had to play a short game and try to get that one shot. Because if they just went back and forth, they're gonna get smoked, and that's how they won the game. And good for them, they played by the rules, but. I tried to watch college basketball back in the day, and I had to turn it off. I was out of my mind. So then when they went to the shot clock, it's like, oh, geez, now something's going to happen. So, so you got to make changes to make the game watchable, to make it entertaining, give people a reason to watch. You're always going to get your purists that'll watch it in its purest form and be totally happy with it. But again, is that how you grow the game? Is that how you grow it? Is that how you keep up with the times? Is that how you keep up with the skill level of the players that increase? Things like that, So Enzo says, I do not watch baseball, therefore interleague play did not help me keep engaged. Back in the day, I watched baseball. Not anymore. But back in the day, in the 70s and 80s, I would have loved the Dodgers to come to Fenway. I would have loved to seen, the Astros and the Reds come to Fenway Park when I was a kid.
I would have liked to see Yastrzemski.
Yeah, it's
As a
only
Mets fan,
recently.
you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, it's only recently that they've done that. Right? It's been 10 years or something like that. They've done interleague play now.
Yeah, because the
Maybe.
big thing growing up, so to see interleague play outside of the World Series and the All
Yeah,
Star game, was the Mayor's Trophy game in New York. They used to have it was the Mets would play the Yankees for the Mayor's Trophy, and you couldn't get tickets back then
yeah,
because
yeah,
hey, you know what? I could go see Don Mattingly. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. So yeah, so no, I don't watch anything recently, but I would have loved interleague play back in the day, and even now, if the Red Sox are playing the Tigers or the Indians or the Yankees even or the Orioles, it's like I can see them 30 times a year. But when a different team comes into town, you know,
hmm
again, you get the Dodgers coming into town. You get the Reds coming into
oh,
town.
true.
You have a team that doesn't, and again, you get the superstars from the National League. You got Ohtani coming into town for the Dodgers. I'm going to probably tune in and watch that. At least some of the highlights. I'm going to watch that. They got game 37 against the Tigers. Don't care.
But then again, the flip side, as a traditionalist, I think it takes its luster away from the World Series. Because growing up years ago, oh wow, we're going to see the Yankees play the Dodgers. I think it takes that luster away from the World
All
Series.
right. Well, that's going to bring me to one of my other points. I'm going to hold off on that.
Okay.
So we're gonna put that in. We're gonna stop right there for that because that's one of my other things. So I'm going to make a little note here that Joe was talking about the World Series mystique. Right. We're
hmm
going to call that the mystique of the World Series. I'm going to touch on that in a minute, but I want to get back to the chat because I'm falling behind here. Barbara says she likes the pitch clock. No reason why the guy in the mound has to take years to pitch. Yeah, yeah. I think that's been one of the good things. One of the good things about that.
Especially when they only pitch for 2 innings. It's not like they're going 8. They're
Oh
trying to
yeah,
take it
and I
easy.
like that. Don't they have to pitch to so many batters now too?
Yeah,
I like that
I
too.
think they have to face 3 batters now.
Yeah, because it just took too long to change the pitchers.
Yeah.
JAA says I'd change the points for a field goal in football to within 40 yards for 3, and then 4, and then 5.
Hmm.
I would almost be okay with anything beyond 60 being 4 points.
Yeah, these days they're hitting 50 and 60 yard.
But I mean,
field goals
that would be your 3-point shot in
Mm.
football. You'd be
Okay.
the 4-point field goal. If you want to take a risk from some 60 or beyond and make it 4 points, I think they went with a 2-point conversion to make an 8-point game a 1-score game, right? So now you're down by 4. Instead of just throwing that Hail Mary, maybe you try that 61-yard
So now
field
you're
goal.
down by 4. You're within. Let's say you have that rule. Beyond 50 yards is 4 points. Your field goal is 48. Can you defer and say, okay, I want to be set back 5 yards so I could kick the 4-yard point?
Couple of false starts.
Exactly.
But again, so by your theory here, so your 48-yard field goal, so you take the false start, and
Right.
now it's 53, and you take the false start, it's 58. I don't think you can take a third one because it's going to be 15 yards. But again, let's just say you're going to try a 58-yard field goal and say, well, we want the 4 points. We're going to back it up. Now that 58 becomes 63. So it's not 60. So
Right.
there is a little strategy there. It's like you could take the 5 yards and go back 5 yards, but it's not going to. It's going to be 63.
Maybe play will come out with an XHL football now. We could do stuff like that.
Ooh, that's an idea. That's an idea, but it's not a bad idea. Double A, And let's see here. Barbara says, "Get rid of the shootouts. Just keep playing hockey." Yeah, that's where I am. That's where I am. I just go 10 minutes of 3-on-3. That is the most exciting hockey. In fact, in all honesty, like if I'm sitting there watching hockey some night, when Bruins or NHL Network or whatever it is, and they got a game on, if they go to overtime, I will watch the overtime. If the overtime ends and they get ready for the shootout, I turn it off. No joke. I don't watch the shootout. I turn it off and I either go to bed or I watch something else or I just get on my phone, but I don't watch shootouts. In fact, in the morning when I, get the hockey highlights, if they show shootout hockey highlights, I click away. I don't like them. And I get it. It's skill shooter, skill goalie. It's the most exciting play. To me, it was good for like half a season, and now I can't stand it. I really don't like it. And Rupert says I would keep 3-on-3 overtime, make it 10 minutes, and no shootout, end in a tie. That's exactly what I say. If I'm commissioner of the NHL, I'm going 3-on-3, make it 10 minutes, and a tie is a tie. A tie is a tie. And Tim says he agrees with me. So that makes Tim a great guy, by the way, when he agrees with me. He doesn't like the college football overtime rule, usually NFL. I think there's no fair way to do it when it's a possession game. But I like the fact now that each team gets one possession. It's a 10-minute overtime, at least in the regular season. And that way there, again, if you got a 4 to 5 minute drive, they get a 4 to 5 minute drive, and you each score a touchdown, it doesn't leave much time on the clock for that third drive. It really doesn't. So I think that kind of works out pretty well. This guy Ryan is back to basketball again. I think in basketball, the NBA should move to 5 fouls, eliminate all the fouls near the bucket. Oh, that's an interesting idea. And the court should be widened to take away the corner threes. Well, you do that, Ryan, and now you're taking away seats.
Seats. Yeah. You just took the words right out of my mouth.
That's why the NHL hasn't gone to Olympic-sized rinks, because they're going to lose seats. And those are prime seats up against the court and against the glass. So, yeah, I like where you're going with that. But
what are you on? How come, Ryan, you're on here? You're supposed to be running the draft, Ryan.
Maybe he's doing both.
Yeah, he is. He's doing a great job, too.
But that's an interesting thing that he said about eliminating the fouls near the bucket, because that'll. But then again, we're talking about we want people to go to the bucket instead of throwing them back to 3-point land. So if you can get destroyed going to the net, then you're not going to go to the net. So that might defeat our 3-point rules by getting rid of those fouls there. How about maybe no fouling from 3-point land? You take a 3-point shot, there's no foul on that.
Oh,
so
you know what kind of Pandora's box you open if you made that kind of rule? Oh.
Yeah, you'd be taking less 3-point shots. Right? Oh, man. And Christopher says he doesn't like the college football rule, but he's not a fan of the NFL at all. He'd like to see college football adopt the NFL overtime rules. So he wants to see college play like the NFL. Gus comes by. Good to see the Gus.
Around that Gus.
Yeah. How about no overtime in football outside of playoffs? If you can't win in regular time, you don't deserve another 15 minutes.
Tie? And then a tie?
Well, it can end in a tie if you don't score in overtime.
No, but he's saying just end the game in a tie.
Thinking this through.
It's not a bad thing.
Thinking it through about NFL overtime, I would almost be okay in giving each team the same amount of possessions and not using time. You know how Vinny uses plays instead of time?
So you have 4 plays to score. If you don't,
No, this is my thinking, is that each team gets 1 possession.
Okay.
If there's a clear-cut winner, the game's over. If it's still tied, no matter what the score is, whether you've got a field goal or a touchdown or nothing, you each get another set of possessions, up to 2 possessions. And then it's a tie. So that way there, you don't have to worry about one team getting an extra possession. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I get the ball and I score a touchdown. I kick to you, you get a touchdown. Okay, now you kick it back to me. This is my last possession, no matter what. You still get a possession after me, no matter what I do. And then after that, if we've scored the same amount of points,
kind of like the shootout.
Kind of like the shootout.
Yeah.
Well, no, the shootout goes on and on and on. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's true, right.
So I would think that you get a maximum 2 possessions, each team, maximum 2 possessions. And at the end of those 2 possessions, again, we don't even need a clock at this point.
Right.
At the end of those 2 possessions, I think that would be the fairest way to do it. Is that way there, you're guaranteed the same amount of possessions, the same amount of, with the ball.
Opportunities.
And yep, so you each get 1 possession. If there's a winner, game's over. If not, we get 1 more set of possessions each. And then at that point, the game would be a tie. That might be the way around overtime in the NFL. Again, you'd have 4 chances to, whatever it is, to come up with a winner. And then at the end of that second possession, it's just a tie. It's like you ran out of time. And that way there, I think that would probably be a little bit more fairer than it is now, where one team, the team that gets the kickoff, has a decided advantage because they could potentially get two possessions to the 1. So maybe that's the way to do it, is that each team gets 1. If there's not a winner, each team gets 1 more possession, and then we call it a day. I think it's a great idea. I think I'm going to send that in. So yeah, thanks to Gus for triggering that. I think that's the winner. I think that's the winner. Clay says a lot of stuff improves if you give the home team the ball in overtime and go back to letting them win with a field goal. See, I didn't like that. Because field goals are so easy now. You can hit 65-yard field goals. You don't even need to get over midfield to hit the field goal now. I don't know. I like the idea of trying to make it as fair as possible, home or away. That's what I think. The shootout in the NHL was a reaction to the lockout to try to win fans back. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Yep, I think you're right. And it I don't know. I don't like it now. If the away team's down by 7 and scores a TD at the end of the fourth, now they will go for 2, knowing the home team has the ball in overtime. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I like my idea better. I like the idea of everybody having that ball the same amount of time. Because if you think about it, one team kicks off and then at the half, the other team kicks off. Mm-hmm. So it's at the end of the game, in theory, it's equal because each team has received the ball at least once on a kickoff. After that, it's up to you. So I think that would be the way around the overtime in Dave's world, is that so I would kick off and you get first possession, and then I at least be guaranteed another possession, even if you scored. Mm-hmm. Even if you scored a second time. So we each get 2 and then it's a tie. I like my idea better. I like all my ideas better. I don't know what it is, Joe. All my ideas are unbelievable.
Well, it's your show, Dave.
Are my ideas unbelievable, or am I just kind of tired from my weekend? Oh, where are we now? There we go. Oh, look at that. Yeah. How good my ideas are. They're unbelievable. Yeah, we had a shootout this weekend there in one of the games, and the home team lost. And it's a great game. 2 undefeated teams. It was tied in regulation, tied through overtime, and went to the shootout. And it just
that's it. Lost its luster.
Yeah, they lost in the shootout, and the team was just like, we lost in a shootout. And I was talking to the kids after the game and says, you lost in a shootout. You play till somebody wins. It's the game was a tie basically. Just and they're like, yeah, we don't feel too bad about losing.
And the shootout takes away, like you said, in that end-to-end, save being made, shot on goal, rebound, save, and then all of a sudden you're just losing the shootout. It just takes away. I'd rather walk away tying and say, wow, what a game. End-to-end, both teams could have won this game.
And you know what they do now?
A big shootout just ruined it.
Whether it's the juniors that I do or the NHL, they come in and they go slow, and they go to the right, and they go, and it's just like, it takes them 10 to 15 seconds to get to the net. It's not like back in the day, they take it and win it on a breakaway. I think maybe they should have somebody chasing you. You know what I mean? You start at center ice, they start at the blue line, and go. And now you get somebody chasing you. So now you have to go and make it quick. You can't just kind of go around the face-off circle and curl back around here. I don't like it. I don't like it. All right, Christopher always says, I remember reading an article in Hockey Digest in the 80s, and the Nordic GM at the time suggested doing the shootout even way back then. Well, that's because did the WHA have the shootout, or did they have the overtime? I forget what they had. WHA did something kind of different.
I think they had the overtime.
Was it?
WHA, I think so. The shootout was an international thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's always been international.
Yeah.
I think the idea is because when you get to that level, the idea is you need to end the game.
Yeah.
You need to end the game. And if you want to have a winner, that's the fastest way to do it. Because in theory, you could play an hour of a shootout, in theory. The chances of that happening are pretty slim compared to playing an hour, three overtimes of hockey than doing the Zamboni. So the idea of the shootout is going to get it done. So that's what the idea is about that. Barbara says that not like the point for losing.
Nah, me too. I said that earlier.
Sean comes in. He says, there's only one thing that needs to be changed. One thing, not a lot of things. I'm kidding, of course. Frank comes by and says, I'm behind on the chat. I see how many messages I got. Sorry about that. We've been kind of commenting on some of the comments here. In the NHL, 1 10-minute OT and nothing else. Team 1 gets a point for the tie. NBA, move the 3-point line back a good 6 inches. I don't think that'll matter. I mean, they're hitting from court, some of these guys. It's insane. And he can't stand watching basketball overusing the 3-point shots. I agree with you, Frank,
Became too offensive.
Oh, boy. Sean wants to dump the 3-on-3 and the shootout. I'm with you on the shootout, but yeah. Bigger nets, didn't they try that? during the
They tried that.
during the strike, they said they tried bigger nets, and it was I don't know about that.
That's when the NHL was looking to get more scoring
Yeah.
to attract
Yeah.
fans. They thought scoring would attract more fans.
Hey, Demi had an idea. Have a runner start at first instead of second. What do you think about that?
No, I don't think anybody should get a start anywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
What
I just
about
don't.
what about 4 outs in
No.
extra innings?
Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. These all want to reinvent the wheel.
We're trying to bring it up to speed. We're trying to bring the satellite radio into the AM radio age. Okay, all you fuddy duddies that love the AM
I still
radio.
like my transistor once in a while.
But that's great. But young kids don't have transistors; they have cell
No, I
phones.
know,
you know. I know.
We'll make it affordable for the young kids. Then you
Yeah.
can do 4 outs.
Yes. But that's what we're here. We're here talking here tonight, just kind of having some fun with this.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing here. That's all this is. What that means is when a new batter comes up, the disengagement's reset. Are we talking about disengagement? Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I will agree with Sean on this. We got to go back to the kickoffs. Although it's this, the kickoffs are interesting. I will say that the kickoffs are very interesting, the way that they are right now. They're getting more yardage. The kickers are now learning to skip the ball, which is kind of neat. So the kickers are adapting very nice to make the kicks harder to return. But yeah, the old way, the surprise onside. Sometimes the kicker used to hit a line drive and try to hit somebody and get a fumble. And now all that's taken away. It really is, I don't think here's the thing about the referees. Full-time referees, part-time referees, I don't think it's going to matter. I really don't. I think referees are, and I tell my guys, they're always bitching about the referees in my league. And I said, look, I've been around the country watching a lot of hockey. Every single league can't stand their referees. And they all think
you got full-time umpires.
Yeah, I mean, the referees make judgment calls. And if you agree with a judgment call, you're going to like them. If you don't agree with the judgment call, then you're not going to like them. And so, like I say, I've between roller hockey and ice hockey, and I'm not talking pros, I'm talking regular dudes playing. Everyone bitches about the officials, and they seem to think that there's this magical island of awesome referees that are just going to come in and referee their games, and everything is going to be exactly how it should be. There's no magical island full of awesome referees. It's just regular people that are out there, and they can't watch you the entire time. They're watching the play, and they see things, and some things they let go, and some things they don't. Some things they miss, some things they get. And it's just
I gotta stick up for football referees in the sense that you're a referee in football. You got to watch sometimes 3 different things happening with one player.
Yep.
Guy gets a pass up high. Is he holding the ball? Did he straddle the line? So I got to stick up for the referees in football. Listen, they make some horrible calls. Yep. I think it all evens out, as the season goes on.
I got to stick up for all the referees.
I think they have a very tough job. Yeah. Referees in football.
You guys know I've been refereeing for, like 26, 27 years now in ice hockey and roller hockey. I did umpiring when I was a kid. I thought about going back to umpiring baseball, thought about it. And it's amazing what you see and what you don't see. Something happens right in front of you and you don't see it. Somebody gets hit in the face. I'm like, I didn't see that. It's not like I'm looking at the sky. I'm watching the game, but again, you're watching a big, it's kind of like watching, a whole bunch of dogs running around the yard, and all of a sudden you hear somebody bite somebody. Like, jeez, I'm watching them. How did somebody get bit? How did another dog bite another dog? Stuff just happens that you don't always see. Because if you turn to look at this guy, now you're missing this guy.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying in football, especially. You're a first base umpire. You're watching the play at first base. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're a home plate umpire. All right, you got a strike zone, but you're focusing. Football, they got to watch 3, 4, 5 different things going on at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. I just there's so much that happens out there, and so much that, again, are there egregious things that happen? Oh yeah, that playoff game in the NHL when the guy, I don't know if he hit it with a high stick or the hand pass and it went to the teammate and they scored the goal. I think it was like the St. Louis game. And it was just like, wow, how do 4 officials miss that?
But hockey's, Dave, hockey's a quick game.
And it's just, they're just
so
like
a human error is probably more apt than hockey than any other sport.
Even in our league, the ball goes in and out of the net so fast, and it went in, and it's like, I don't think it went. How did it go in and then go up in the air?
I never was a proponent for instant replay. But with hockey,
Oh yeah,
goals in and out of the
yeah,
net. When they said they were putting the cameras in, I was all for
yeah.
that.
I'm okay with that. I like to see that.
Yeah,
And the thing is that you'll get half the guys saying it went in, and half the guys
right,
swearing it didn't go in. So how can you blame the referee when
right.
half of betting their life it went in, and the other half of betting their life it wouldn't go in? Well, one of you guys are wrong.
And the referee's skating with the guy who's shooting the puck too, so
Yeah,
he's got the same
yeah.
angle.
It just sometimes it goes in and out, even in our
Yeah.
league, so fast. Marco comes by. Marco, have you done the app of football yet? I know he sent me a picture of app of football, Joe.
But he did XHL.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I know. I need to jump on that. And Sean thinks Clay's right with a home field that should matter. And Marco says, I wish the NFL would go back to the old Thursday schedule, only playing Thursdays after Thanksgiving. Sometimes it is kind of nice to kick back on a Thursday and have a game to watch. I will say. I do watch NFL more than anything else, even though I bitch about it. But I will watch it. I won't watch the whole game, but I'll have it on kind of in the background. Like like when I'm playing on the tabletop, if I'm not streaming a game, I'll watch the NFL, or if I'm chilling out. I do like Monday Night Football when I'm at the rink scorekeeping, because I'll listen to it, because I have to watch the game when I'm scorekeeping.
Right.
But I can listen to it, so I'll listen to Monday Night Football, or a lot of times I'll even I'll listen to like Mad Dog Sports Radio, and they're recapping the Sunday games and keeping you up to date on the Monday Night Football. So if something good happens, I'll switch over to Monday Night Football. So I do like the Monday night's kind of fun, at least for me personally. Marco says streaming will be the death of sports. It's getting too expensive to watch your team. What did they say? That if you wanted to watch every NFL game this year, it was going to cost X amount of dollars to subscribe to all the different services, whether it be Netflix or whether it be Amazon or the NFL package. I mean, somebody did a mock-up of it, and it was incredible how many services you had to have.
What MSG, okay, Gotham Sports, whatever it became. If you do not have MSG in your home and you want to stream, it's like something like $10 or $12 per game.
Oh,
and for
jeepers.
the year, it's like 400. It's ridiculous. So
nuts.
Marco is right on point with that.
He says in Chicago, it's easier to watch the Maple Leafs than it is to watch the Blackhawks, and that's not a joke. Yeah, well, Chicago's a different here. That guy's really been really weird. How they handle things up there. They always have been kind of weird about that. He says, I pay for ESPN Plus and get a ton of games except the Blackhawks. And I was just talking about that, wasn't I? I was just talking about how, I used to get the NHL package. And then I realized that I couldn't watch the Bruins. It's like, I'm paying you. I'm giving you the cash. It was my dollar. I'm giving you the cash. Just put the Bruins in there. I don't want to have to go and not watch my favorite teams. It's like, there's only so many Sharks games and Phoenix Coyote games I can watch. I want to watch some better teams, but they're on, the major networks, and they're not included in the package. So you almost get like the B teams. Even with the NFL package, I get the better games on my local channels, including, the local team, the Patriots there. But if I'm getting the NFL package, yeah, I can watch, the Cardinals and the Jaguars. Yeah, but who's going to want to watch that? And he says, I have to pay $20 a month for a special channel for a 500
That's
team.
crazy.
Yeah. Enzo says NFL packages geared towards gamblers. Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, I will go with that. And Mr. Jet comes by. It is Mr. Jet. Thanks for coming by, Mr. Jet. I was watching one of your videos the other day. I don't know if it was a hockey blast or an app of hockey. I don't know. There was something on your channel I was watching. I was kind of enjoying it the other night. I always like watching the Maple Leafs too. Marco says they're his second favorite team. I swear I watch them 10 times as many Leaf games because of the availability. I don't mind the Leafs. Like I said, I'm an original six guy. So I like, the Blackhawks and the Rangers and the Bruins and the Leafs. Not so much the Canadians, but you got to respect what they did when I grew up. And then
you only said that because Vinny's not on tonight.
That's right. And then the Red Wings, I could give or take the Red Wings, but I always did like the Blackhawks and the Rangers and the Leafs. So
I love Boston Rangers.
I think because it was growing up, we got a heavy dose of Rangers Bruins.
Yeah.
Not so much Canadians because
and swapping of players. Phil Esposito and Brad Park going to each team.
Rattel and Hodge and Esposito and Vadney, I think.
Carl Vadney, that's right.
Yeah. There's a lot of trades between Boston and New York. Yeah.
And they were rivals. That's crazy.
Yeah. And Ryan says threes an hour, 2.9 points. Uh, that's something else. Yeah, yeah. Oh man. Oh boy, Clay's wife's got a great idea for a new podcast, Sports Crime with Dave Gardner. Dun, 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 dun. And Ryan thinks you have a good idea. I forget what idea it was, but because we're behind.
That was
in the
with
chat.
that was with the 3-pointers. If you go into the paint, because I saw
Okay.
him posted. If you
did
go
okay.
into the paint and you pass it out, it's not a 3-pointer no more.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe make like a big box,
Yeah.
not just a key. Maybe paint
Yeah.
something on the court that says once the ball goes in here, that possession you can't score a three. If you take a shot, it will reset that. But if it's in the paint, then yes, everything is a 2-point.
I'm giving you a heads up. Vinny heard what you said about the Canadians.
Oh, I thought he was in bed. This is a Vinny free zone tonight. No, I'm kidding, Vin. And Clay says a small tweak for the 3-pointer in basketball is to only give 2 foul shots if you fouled while the 3-pointer shooting a 3. Oh, see, I was talking about that, like no shots. Oh, 1. Make it 1 if you keep taking 3s.
Mm-hmm.
Marco says the XHL has an awesome idea with the power play can choose even strength.
Yeah.
And if you score, it's worth
great.
2, or you can get them. Yeah, I got to dive into that. I really do. I like I say, I have a couple of good ideas for that. I keep saying I'm going to get to it.
Discussing it when we were at when he was introducing it, he said you can use our options. You don't have to, and you could tweak it because you just can't ruin the game.
Well, yeah, no, you can't. And that's what he kept saying. He said, you can't wreck this game. He goes, make whatever rules you want because it's fantasy players. It's a fantasy game based on Hockey Blast, but, do whatever you want with it. So, yeah, I will come up with one. It's going to take me a while because, again, I've been kind of busy and I've been tired. But I do have my notes, and I always show these. I do have my notes right here. And I just added to those notes, Dave's OT rule. I love that OT rule. I'm going to so use that. I might use that in some of my projects, too. The Dave's OT rule. You never know. A variation of the NCAA possession arrow. The last team to miss a 3-pointer automatically loses the next jump ball. Yeah, I don't know how we would come up with something like that, but that's and another small. He is full of small tweaks tonight. Small tweaks. With modern analytics, it would nudge 3-point attempts down. P-Jet said, I would get rid of deafening blast of rock tunes every break in action. Bring back the old time organist. Dude, no way. You need to have those rockin' 80s metal tunes. That's what gets you going. We can't have them on our halftime Super Bowl show, even though that's all we play during breaks. But we can play them during our intermissions. I would say that. I would actually listen to an organist.
Let's not even get into the halftime.
I would listen to an organist on the halftime show. The last 10 years, I don't even know who they've had on there. I was like, who are these guys? There was one at a playoff game in Detroit, and he was doing something. I was like, who is? Maybe it was Thanksgiving game. I was like, never heard of this guy or this people. Just again, that's how out of touch I am with that stuff. That's okay. And Mark says, go to a Cub games. It's all organ except walk-up songs. And Gary comes by. Interleague is around 20 years old. I know time flies. Oh, Gary, you're just making me feel old now. Holy cow, 20 years. I remember when they said you play a division, and then now I think it's play everybody. I think that's the way it should be. Oh, and I'll still get to my point. I haven't forgot about your World Series mystique point, Joe. Okay. I have that written down, and that'll be coming. That'll be coming. Yes, this is a good point by Sean. Let's have a sudden death home run derby, right? Just like the shootout in hockey. Let's have a home run derby, right? And I'll take this a step further, Sean. I will take this a step further. Okay, we're gonna have instead of going to the 10th inning, we're gonna have a home run derby, and we're gonna start with the pitchers in the bullpen. How about that, right? How about that? You want the pitchers to hit? They're gonna hit.
Oh, the pitcher's hitting.
The pitchers
will non-pitcher pitching.
The pitchers will
pitching.
You have to start the first 6 batters in the home run derby, or 5 batters have to be pitchers. You got to send up pitchers. Actual.
Owners will never do it.
I think that'll appease all the people that They hate the DH, so you'll see the pitchers
Mhm.
batting. It'll get rid of the ghost runner. It'll get rid of so many. Joe, it's the ideas I have tonight. They're just flowing out of me like the fountain of youth, right? Holy
Oh,
cow!
boy.
Someone's going to pick up on this and make some awesome sports, you know. And Sean's adamant against each team having a possession. I disagree. I disagree with that. And Gus says, all this reminds me when I was a teenager, 40 years ago, and my
True.
uncles were complaining about how crappy sports were compared to
It's
when
true.
they were younger. It is true. It is. That's what we're doing. We're yelling at clouds right
Yep.
now. But that's what we do, right? We yell at clouds. We try to have a good time with that. Let me just change the scene here. Fenner says the NFL kickoff rules are atrocious. I don't know. Atrocious. I don't know. I like the idea of onside kick anytime you want. That surprise onside in the Super Bowl to start the second half, I thought that was exciting. Now you don't have it.
And kickoffs and kickoffs too. What they did, changing the most of them go into the end zone. Oh, we're doing that to avoid injuries. But how many guys made teams? I know when I coached. Okay, and you were new on the team. Get out there on special teams and let me see what you got.
Yeah. You don't put Earl Campbell
Right.
on special teams. You're
Let me
putting the
see
guys
what you
trying to
got
make the
if you
team.
wanna
Yeah.
earn your way onto the defense.
And so if those guys get hurt, not don't want to see anybody get hurt, but
No, of course
you're not losing your star player, right? You're losing a guy trying to make the team. So maybe that's why they're getting hurt, because they're trying to hit too hard. I don't know.
True.
I don't know. It is. You get a possession. Yes, I am Oprah. Yes. When it comes to that, when it comes to a possession game, well, like baseball. Okay, well, Sean, let's talk baseball. All right. You get your Blue Jays playing. They go into extra innings. Seattle comes up in the top of the 10th and scores, and the game's over. Are you happy with that? Are you happy with Toronto not getting an at-bat? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below, as they say. Are you okay if Toronto were to lose to Seattle and not get an at-bat in extra innings? That's what you're telling me. So if you're okay with that, then it's got to be okay across the board. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe going to Clay's idea, because he seems to be very about the home team playing at home and getting home. Maybe in football, the home team gets the last possession in overtime. Give them maybe a possession each, and then the home team, no matter what, gets the last possession.
Like baseball. Yeah. Or you can just start right off. The visitor gets the first one, home team gets the second one.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the second possession. Visitor gets it, and then the home team gets it, and that's that. So they can decide what they want to do last, or give them the choice. Do you want the ball first, or do you want to give them the ball? You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm even thinking, to make it even more fair, after the first possession, if it's tied, you still have a kickoff, right? Because the first team would kick off, Team A kicks off, Team B gets a possession, Team A gets a possession. It's tied. I would make Team B kick off then, because you don't know where that ball is going to be in the field. So on the second possession, it could be an advantage or a disadvantage. I think each team should get one kickoff return in a possession, and the other team can respond. That's what I would do, and that's the only way to really make it fair. Because and you can't argue. You've each had a kickoff return and a possession. And it's no one got a kickoff and the other team didn't, and it's all about fairness, and I think that's the only way you could do it. And he feels all the rules are changing the fabric of the game just the same time. Well, I guess I would be saving time, because again, you can't be sitting there all night watching a regular season baseball game or a hockey game either. Well, hockey, I would stay an extra 5 minutes for the 3-on-3 overtime, but the shootout, I'm out of there. Where are we now? Oh, the WHA had a 10-minute overtime. Okay. And PJ says the most ties in the NHL in the WHA was 9. A few teams had 0 ties. Okay. And Barbara says the wheel is round. Let's stay in baseball. No one on base for extra innings and no 4 outs.
Robotic.
I'm just trying to come up with ideas here. That's what we're doing, right? We're talking ideas.
Taking away the mystique.
I do like my football one. I like the idea of kicking off and each team getting possession. If there's no winner, the other team kicks off and they each get a possession. And that'll be your regular season overtime.
I think I kind of like, based on Clay's idea. In the overtime, like baseball, the visitor gets the ball first, and then the home team gets the ball second, no matter what happens.
Well, again, this is just talk tonight because I don't think
Of
anybody's going to
course,
take any of
they're not
idea.
going to listen to us. They're
No
going
one
to do
listens
what
to us.
makes them the most money.
Not even Vinny listens to me, you know. And so Barbara says, no, Gus says on most calls there's 50% who are happy and 50% who are pissed off, Rick. Yes, you are correct about that, you know. Let's see. P-Jet says, Rec Skater. Yes, recreational skater. They want NHL level referees. You're exactly right. They always think that there's some magical guy that's going to come in and, you know, going to referee their game and every call is going to be perfect. It's like, if they brought in NHL refs to rec hockey leagues, the first call they didn't like, these refs suck.
Still, right.
They
wouldn't care what level they were from.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they, you know, exactly.
No,
if
I
they're the
agree.
top referees in the league and in the world.
Hockey referees is tough too. You know,
Yeah.
You got to skate. And I'm not saying that because you are. You got to skate. You know, you got to stay with the play. And
But the problem is that, you know, if you think you're hooked and they didn't call it, no matter who you are, you're a bad referee if you don't make the call that I thought. And if I get called for a penalty, well, I didn't do that. So why did you call me for that? Because I didn't. Because I got hooked 3 hours ago. I got hooked. You know, 3 weeks ago, I got hooked. You didn't call it, and that's just how hockey players think. You know, so and that's how sports fans think. So you wouldn't. And I've said this many times on the show: is on a Sunday, if I'm not working, I'll be sitting there watching TV, and I'm just scrolling Facebook, just vegging out sometimes, and it'll be amazing. That I have friends from all over the country from different things, and let's just say it's Dallas, Philadelphia, and there's a penalty against Philadelphia. All the Eagles fans are coming on saying the refs are against us, and then a holding call on the call on the Cowboys, and the Cowboys fans, all the refs are against us. They want us to lose, and I'm just like, hello. The refs can't be against both teams wanting both teams to lose. You gotta pick a lane here. Pick a lane. Are the refs bad or are they good? Because you're only complaining when they make a call against you. You know, and that's how it is. I guess that's human nature. You know,
same
if the
in
referee,
hockey. Same thing goes on in hockey.
It's hockey. It's everything. If the ref makes a call, against you or your team, they're bad refs. And then when they make a call against the other team,
They called a good game tonight.
yeah, exactly. Oh, that was perfect. After 17 years away from the game, I started officiating high school soccer. It's amazing how fast these kids are. With each level, they get so much quicker. Yeah, that's the other thing, That's the other thing is they are so much faster, No, but so Vinny heard something I said. I'm not sure what it was, but
I heard that.
Yeah, he did.
About Montreal. Not watching Montreal.
I'm just not. Yeah. Joe Cots, call me about a Strat get together. Okay,
Jimmy. Is that Jimmy from Brooklyn? Jimmy, reach out through the group.
Yeah. Vinny's watching some hockey. I saw that he was watching the Canadians and the Leafs the other day. I think the Leafs actually beat the Canadians, but then the Canadians beat the Blackhawks. I think so. So that is that. And then Vinny says he's going to play some hockey once he closes up. I was too tired to play anything today.
I know what he's going to play too. I think I got him in the mood for Hockey Blast.
Did he? Yeah, I thought he said he's going to pull out 49 hockey. I wasn't sure.
Oh, yeah, that could be.
Yeah. I got to pull out my 60s Apple hockey that I bought, 67 to 68. I want to get some old school hockey in on the table here. And I'm kicking around 1980 Apple football right now. I'm going to wait a few weeks on that. I got to.
You know what happened to me last night after, you played 49 and did deep games and detailed and Apple hockey detailed. I just felt like rolling a simple hockey game, and I pulled out Hockey Blast Express. No thinking. Roll. Sometimes you just feel like that.
That's the one Express game. That got me back into Hockey Blast. So that's why I really like about Hockey Blast Express. I didn't have good luck with it. And I saw someone else the other day had like a 17-14 score in his game.
We've discussed what I think the reason is.
And maybe he screwed that up, but I was getting easily 8-9 goals per team when I started playing.
I had 3-3 tie last night, a 3-1 win.
I never got a 1-0 and 2-0 game in any of the games I played in Hockey Blast Express. See, I never did. And I wasn't just playing the bad teams, but if you have a goalie that's a 1 or a 2, and you're rolling that 6-sided die against that, it's a goal.
Also,
And you can
yes,
get
and also
unlimited
if
goals in a segment. So you could get 5 goals because that goalie can't. If you get a team that's winning the battles all the time, and you got a goalie with a
that's the
one or
key. You
you got a
just said
one
it. That's the
one,
key.
but you got a 1 or a 2 star, you can't
Right.
save
Is
anything.
dead.
It's just goal after goal after goal.
Or
And it's
you
like,
roll on if you roll on the home or the visitor chart, that could kill too. But if you get teams losing the battle, and that's why we had this discussion before. That's why when I play, I try to strategize. If I got Esposito in the first row, okay, I'm putting Guy Lafleur in the first row too for the other team, and so the matchups they match up. They
maybe,
wipe each other out a lot of
yeah,
times.
yeah, maybe that would help. But I like I said, I played it, and my scores were through the roof, and other people's were too. So it wasn't just me, because other people said the same thing.
No, I know. I've had
And
discussions with
there's
people.
probably ways around it, and whatever. But my score, I mean, the goalie couldn't make a save. And then, but the one good thing about Hockey Blast Express, it brought me back to Hockey Blast. And
Yes.
since I went back to Hockey Blast, I don't think I pulled out the Express, because
Yeah, I did. I just felt it last night. I did it for the co-op. I said, I'll do 2 games.
I just like the full game so much better
Oh
than the
yeah, oh
Express. I
yeah,
really do.
full. And the goal and the good thing was explained to be you get in the Hockey Blast Express, you get the 1 star shot goalie. You're going to score on him most of the time. In regular full play Hockey Blast, not necessarily, because that shooter has to make that roll to
Yeah,
get the shot on goal.
yeah,
So
yeah. But what I'm saying is that, because you can score unlimited goals in that segment. And again, if you win 3 or 4 matchups in a row,
mhm.
you're rolling against a 1-star
A
goalie.
lot
That's
of people put limits to the goals in the segment too.
Yeah, yeah. So that was my issue with the Express. I don't think I played it really since I went back to the full game. I just prefer the full game. AP says I would get rid of shootouts in the NHL, increase the OT to 10. Yes, that's exactly my thoughts on that as well. Let's see here. David comes by playing with the new Apper 1986 football set. I was looking at that. I saw Jerry was playing that. Jerry plays a lot of football on
Yeah.
YouTube. I
I have it in Strat.
I'm
I
gonna
have it in
probably
Clay's game,
I'm
and
gonna probably
I have it in another football. Oh well, I have it in John Turnbull's game. So I got it in 3 games.
I'm probably gonna get 80. That's just in 1980. I remember exactly where I was, the crappy childhood that I had, but I remember watching those games in the living room on Sunday when it was cold and it was snowy, and looking at the football game. They were flashing the scores at the bottom of the
Hmm.
screen because that's all they did back in the day, and just hoping Tampa Bay could beat Detroit. I just have this image in my head of like 2017 Detroit over Tampa Bay, fourth quarter. I'm like, come on, Tampa, pull it out. And so 80 was a big season for me. So I might have to, I have 81. But there's no 79. I have the older 79, so it's kind of incompatible, but I might have to get 80. That 80 was my baseball. That was my hockey. That was my football season. 80 was the big deal for me. So David, I'm glad you're playing with 86. That'll be down the line. Football team is about more who won the coin toss. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. See, now somebody finally said it. You win the coin toss, you just have an unfair advantage. Both teams need to get 1 possession, and I like my idea of having the same amount of possessions for each team, up to 2 in the regular season. Playoff overtime, you'd have to figure it out. You really would. And so Sean says, I should have said things differently. The home run shootout is what I meant, I guess. Like if one team misses a home run, the other team gets it, the game's over. Okay, so now, yeah. Okay, so you just made my point. You want to go back and forth in baseball, but not in football. So you got to pick a lane. Are we going to make it fair, or are we just going to make it for the home team? That's what I'm saying. And the sudden death in the home run. Yeah. But again, if you're going to give the other team a chance to come up to bat, but you're not going to do it in football, I don't know. Oh, they are listening to you, Barbara says. You'll get ads in the Facebook page for my ideas. Yeah. I like the Dave Sports Crime podcast. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, man. And Vinny says, I really don't listen to that one. He goes, I'm an expert at letting people think I listen to them. That's pretty funny. All right. I get it. Oh man. And Vinny says he likes the college football. That's his thing. That's his thing. David said no bad calls tonight in his Apple football game. All right, so no bad penalties. I
No
had
plays, huh?
that last Apple football game I played. Who did I play? Oh, who did I play? I don't. Was it Eagles?
Jets?
I think it was the Cowboys. I think it was it Cowboys Eagles or Cowboys Vikings? Cowboys Giants. It was Cowboys somebody I played, and I had a crazy situation where I had an interception, and on the interception return, the guy was hit and he fumbled.
Yeah, you had discussed, right.
And I forget who recovered the fumble. But there was a flag on the play, and it turns out that it was a legal forward pass. So I was like, well, would that? I guess the interception would stand even on an illegal forward pass because he stole the ball. Even though the pass was illegal, he still caught it. It was just a Bears and Cowboys. Yeah, Bears and Cowboys. Okay, that's who it was. Walter Payton. That's right, I had Walter Payton in the refrigerator.
Right. That's what we said. I said you had a fridge.
Yeah.
You had the
I had a fridge sighting. And so it was the interception. The Cowboys intercepted it. And the guy ran it 5 yards, got hit and fumbled, and I forget who recovered the fumble, but it all came back on the flag anyway. So I think Dallas recovered the fumble, but I just had to. I just took the penalty, but so I did have a couple of crazy scenarios in that, and that's what makes it. That's I like the app. It has some fun things. And Gus says Edmonton's up 14-7 on an 80-yard pick six. Now is that like real or is that on your table there, Gus? I'm not sure if they're playing Canadian football right now. I don't know. PJ had a 15-11 score on one of his Hockey Blast Express games. I know it wasn't the Seals. They're not going to score.
Never
11.
had anything crazy like that.
Maybe.
I said, I just strategized when I put my all on one against the other. I don't know.
I went to Strat to pick up 67, 68, and they were sold out. Gus, that's why I went to APA. The biggest reason I went to APA is because they had all those seasons in stock. Like all the seasons you have behind me that you can't see. Because I had Strat, and I bought some seasons off the black market, and it was cost me an arm and a leg. And I was like, man, there's got to be a better way to play some of these seasons.
And they'll never go PDF.
Yeah,
never. I had the discussion with Mike Kane.
Yep. So when I went to APA, I says, boy, they have all these seasons I love. It says if I can get it to work, and I got it to work, and then I did a little tweaking with it, and with the help of Mike Berger and a few other people, I got that game screaming right now. It is, I just love the APA hockey the way I play it. I play it 90% the way the book does, but again, assists and penalties and a couple other things that made no sense to me. I rounded off some of the rough edges, what I felt were rough edges. But yes, they have all the seasons. I just picked up 67, 68 actually a few weeks ago. And so that'll be on my table soon.
And their original 6 seasons are really affordable.
$25.
Yeah, really affordable.
For original 6, yeah. Yeah, and I think
you get every player.
Yeah, and I think the 60s were like $50 when they went to the 12 teams. They're $50.
Yeah, right.
It's not bad at all. Yeah. And PJet says Gallimore played a replay full Canuck season and got good results according to him. So, and Vinny's not an Express fan. Yeah, he likes his full play games. Although 49's kind of Express.
He's a highlights fan. Yes, you are, Vinny.
But it's not.
It's Express. It's chunks.
No, I wouldn't consider it Express because I would not consider shootout hockey or Stone Cold hockey an Express game.
Well, I never played Stone Cold. Shootout, I wouldn't consider Express because you get shots on goal. You got some, but highlights, I would say it's
still a half-hour game. It's still going to take you a half hour to play that. Shootout's probably 20 minutes. Stone Cold's 20 minutes. 49 highlights, half hour for me to play. So no, I wouldn't put that in the Express category. Express for me is 15 minutes or less.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, just my definition, And Vinny says he has the 16 set for that season, but not the print file. PJ says he plays a full game of Hockey Blast in a half hour. Wow. See, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's quick.
That is fast. Yeah. I mean, unless you're getting a lot of lulls,
I would say I've done it. I've done games in 45 minutes, but I would say 45 minutes to an hour. would you say?
I used to think that it was a half hour to 40-minute game because when I was playing all my different games,
I never time it. That's the problem.
Hockey Blast was an hour and 15, hour and a half. Apple was an hour 15, hour and a
Mhm.
half. Strat, when I played Strat, I thought it was 50 minutes to an hour for
Yeah,
Strat.
yeah, yeah.
I
I'd
thought
say that.
again. It's been a while since I played the Strat. And the Hockey Blast, I always thought that was a half hour game for me. The last few times I played Hockey Blast, it was creeping up on 45 minutes or
Yeah,
so.
that's what I said. 45 minutes, sometimes an hour if you get
Yeah.
penalties.
Yeah, and I'm not a fast player, so I mean, to me,
Yeah.
it's if some people that really put their mind to it and roll through the game real quick. Again, I tend to savor these games. I really
That's
like to.
me. But again, it's a game I enjoy, so I really never know how long it takes me.
Yeah, yeah, and
That's the truth.
and this is what what Sean just said. He goes, "I'm jealous of the hockey sim players. I just can't stand how long it takes to play games, but maybe that'll change in the future." Here's the thing, Sean. Here's the big trick with that. If picture your favorite movie or your favorite sport or your favorite TV show. Are you enjoying it? Do you wish it was longer? Do you ever have something you watch? It's like, man, I can't believe it's over already.
Hmm.
You got a TV show you watch, like a series, and you've binged 5 series. You're like, man, I wish it was a six series or 6 season. Same kind of thing. I used to think the same way that, man, all these people are taking 2-3 hours to play a game. What are you thinking? Until you do it, you realize, man, I just had whether I play one game or 10 games, I had 2 or 3 hours of gaming fun.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there's something very satisfying of playing a full play game, whether it's football,
Yes.
hockey, baseball. Baseball plays quick because it's just how the game's
Yeah.
designed. Because, well, if you had to play pitch by pitch baseball, which is kind of almost, what some of the hockey is in football is play by play, it would take a lot longer than
Yeah.
just getting that result from one pitch. Even like the bank shot basketball, that was taking me a couple of hours to play because it's a full play game and you're going through all 4 quarters in every possession. And I enjoyed it. I really did. There is something to be said about 49 highlight hockey and shootout and stone colds because you can play a game in, can say 20 minutes to a half hour. And sometimes that's all you want. But when I play the longer games, the APA hockey, the hockey bones, or even the 49 quick decks hockey, they're all over an hour, close to an hour and a half for me.
Doesn't even right.
Doesn't phase me at all. And
Yeah.
and I feel like when I'm done, whoo, man, that was awesome. It just feels awesome that you just played this game and you saw everything. You saw every shot and every save, every handoff. You didn't miss anything. When you play the quicker games, it's all kind of condensed. And so you get okay, we're going to stop here and take a look at what happens. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you see every build up, so when you
So
play,
true.
yeah, when you play like highlight hockey, let's just say, and you see that goal being scored, oh man, that was awesome. Well, when you play a full version and you see the goalie make like 10 saves and he
Mhm.
finally gives up that one goal, and you're like, oh my gosh, he stood on his head and they finally got one by him.
It happened today. So Vinny, Phil, and myself, we played a little bit of APA hockey, and then we did some hockey blast. And in both games, I was doing the book, okay, and Phil was playing Vinny, and it got when APA, we'll use APA, when you're going back and forth, interception by the center.
Yep.
It's and it was almost like a picture of play going on in the corner because the two defensemen we had to check the intimidation ratings to
Yep.
see if they could clear the puck, and you really start to develop it. And the same thing happened in Hockey Blast. Vinny at one point got like 4 rebound shots, and you could just picture
Yep.
the guy standing in the crease peppering the goalie. It's so true what you said,
Yep.
Dave.
But and I look at this especially more with the full play football games. When you play like a drive by drive game, and I don't know what they have for highlight football games, but if you play a faster football game and you just get the results of the drive, because usually they drive by drive.
Well,
So
that's drive time football.
yeah, drive time
Ron's
football.
game.
Yep. Fast drive football from Al Wilson.
Right.
Game winning drive is one of my favorites from Downey games. Momentum football, I think, is actually my favorite from Downey games. And they're drive by drive. So you get the result of the drive. So you get the field goal, the touchdown, whatever it is. When you're playing the full game, the 2.5 hour epic APA football game, or season ticket football, or solitaire pro football, whatever football game you're playing, you have those no gains, 1 yard run, 3 and out and a punt. You have all the mundane things happening. And then when you get that monster play or the crazy fumble or interception, it means so much more, because you've had all this, and then shoom, then it shoots up, and now you're at the top of the mountain with something exciting happening. Whereas the highlight games, you're at the top of the mountain all the time.
All the time. You're getting the highlight. You're watching the highlights.
Yeah, so you're not
getting. It
getting.
happened to me the other day. I was playing Clay's season ticket football. 86 Giants against the Chargers. Close game. Chargers are winning. Fourth quarter, like you said, Giants mundane. They're down. Fourth quarter, 7:50 left. They get the ball and they drive. And Joe Morris with a big run, and they score with 1:30 left in the game. And now the Chargers get the ball back, and they just couldn't get down there. But in a highlight game, you're not seeing that.
Right. Yeah.
You're not seeing that.
It's sometimes it's all the little mundane things that happen, and when the good stuff happens, it's way more special because it's not happening all the time like you can in a highlight game. Like when I play shootout hockey, okay, we got a scoring chance. Oh, here's a goal. Well, that's great. 4 minutes went by, we had a scoring chance, we had a goal. But when you play those 4 minutes out and you're losing the puck, here's a shot and a save, and a shot and a save, and a shot and a save, and then you get the goal. You had all the things that led up to that, and you create the story with that. That's how you create the story. Whereas if you just get the result, there's not a lot of story behind that. So, but again, it plays faster. So there's your what do you want to do at that particular point? Oh, the creamsicles. Yes, the creamsicles are the best jerseys ever. She may become a Bucks fan. She should become a Bucks fan after the creamsicles, And Baker Mayfield, oh my gosh, he's killing it out there for the Buccaneers. I'm pretty happy with what he's doing with the Buccaneers. If they would go back to the creamsicles, I'd go back to being a Bucks fan. They can't just break them out every 10 years and expect me to come back on the wagon, though. And Gus says he played 67, 68 opening night with shootout day. Oh, that's a good one. 3-3. Yeah, shootout. It is such a fun game.
It's a fun game.
Yep. And he wants Grant to come out with so many more seasons. I know. I think we all do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Grant, are you listening?
Yeah, I know, right? Wilbur Marshall, the Bears picked it off. Yes, that's right, David. Yeah, Wilbur Marshall picked it off, and then he fumbled, and then the Cowboys got it back, but they had to take the penalty. So, where are we? Oh, I'm still behind in the chat. I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up here. And Vinny says, I'd love to wake up tomorrow and find out Grant has every season for hockey. Yeah, that would mean Grant couldn't go to bed, though. Grant would be up all night.
Grant would love if you bought every season of hockey.
Yeah, I probably would, too. Because I
probably would.
That's such a fun game. PJ switching for more WHA seasons for Blast and APA. I talked to Dave Arlington, who makes the seasons for Hockey Blast. And he says the reason why they don't have much WHA stuff is they don't have the stats that the NHL has
to build the qualities for that game.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, so I know Strat just come out with a WHA set, but again, it was 6 teams, and then the rest.
Yeah.
The one thing about APA, they're pricey. Hockey Bones is pricey, but you get all the cards. You don't have to print anything.
Vinny and I had this discussion. It's so funny. So we were talking about that, and me being a longtime Strat, and Vinny cut his teeth too on Strat like me. And when I hear people say that, after now buying some APA, I don't think they're as pricey as people. I think when you really start to figure it out, what you get, like you're saying, you're getting every player with APA. Strat, okay, yeah, the set is 60, but now you got to spend another 17 if you want the extra players. And the quality of the cards, and you're getting every player. So I think in the long run, I don't think they're as pricey when you really weigh what you're getting from them.
Yeah, when you look, app is about 10 cents a card when you break it down. So if you get 900 cards, it's $90. It's 10 cents a card. And then with the football, you're getting 1,200 cards for $120. So it's 10 cents a card is what it is. Is kind of what it breaks down to. I think with baseball too. So that's going to be your average then. if I'm printing out, and because I'm neurotic, I have to print out every team and every player. Could I do it for 10 cents? No,
No.
no, no. And I did in the past. I printed out entire seasons. I did that with Strat Hockey. I printed out all the extra guys,
Yes,
all the
yes,
extra teams.
I've done the same.
Excuse me, I've done that in the past, and now it's like,
And when you figure it out, you probably spent more than you would on a Napa season.
yeah, just on the paper and the ink
Yep.
and my time cutting. It's like, oh, my hands are killing me after I
Yep.
cut all the things there. So yeah, so for me now, I try to save up and I'll buy the printed season, and unless it's PDF only, then I'm now team cards are a different story.
That's different. That's
Yeah,
different.
you
That's
know,
like I was telling somebody today about on a private message. He sees I was playing season ticket football, and he's like, "Oh, it's PDF. I can't." I says,
oh
"You're
no,
getting team
yeah,
cards."
yeah,
I said, "So depending on what season, that's all you're printing out.
yeah,
Are those that many team cards?
yeah,
So
just
you're printing maybe on the 32s. You're printing out 32 team cards.
yep. Yep.
Compared to
If you want
individual
everyone,
players.
if you want everyone, if you just want to print out
Right.
like usually when I do that, I just print out a few teams. I used to print out everybody when I was getting
Yeah, I
salty
do
at
that
pro.
too. If
I
I'm playing
used to,
like the '86 Giants,
yeah.
right?
Now I'm like, yeah, let me print out a handful of teams I think I'm going to play, and then
Right.
if I have to, I can
Right.
always on the fly print out one team on the fly. That's individual cards. You can't just print out a team on the fly because
No.
so many times let me play a game of this. Oh yeah, let me just print out a couple of sheets here. Boom, ready to go.
Mhm.
And yeah, season ticket football. You have the a handful of charts, not many,
No, yeah.
not many charts at all.
And you're not paying for them anyway.
Yeah. The game is free, and you
So
pay for the team.
that's
So
free.
yeah,
The base game is free.
yeah, it's a good deal, fun game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as far as the printing and stuff, I've come over with the team cards
Well,
for individuals. That's
Payoff
just what I
pitch.
do.
I would never
yeah.
never do a P. First of all, the quality of the
Yeah.
cards, just you're not going to get that if you print PDF.
Yeah. Yeah. And Vin reminded me that Dave Arlington does Hockey Bones and a Hockey Blast. I thought I said Bones, maybe I didn't. But when I talked to Dave Arlington about creating more WHA for Hockey Bones, he says it's real hard because of the data. He did create one season. I forget what season it was. Was it 77, 78? I think they did WHA for Hockey Bones. And he says, I don't think I'll ever do another one because of how difficult it was finding things. He goes, unless I had somebody help me going and digging up all the stats. And he says, it's a chore. He goes, but someone would have to get me all the stats I would need to make that happen. So I was like, yeah. Sounds like it was, we love it as fans, but what it's going to take to get that done,
Yeah.
It's just not going to feasibly happen, Vinny thinks that highlights is fast, but not quick play.
No,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not.
it's definitely not. I wouldn't even.
Quick play is like in 2 minutes you have a result. That's what I consider a quick play. Excuse me, quick play game. Where in 2-3 minutes you do a roll. That's express, like you said, a 15-minute game, and then you're saying highlights is a 30-minute. So yeah, it's definitely not a quick play.
Yeah. Now AP says in the crease on the PC takes him 25 minutes. In the crease on the PC takes me an hour. 1 hour. I've played it many times. It takes me 1 hour. It's 20 seconds a click. And for me, to follow along and figure out where it is and click, it's 10 seconds a click. So that's 50. That's almost a minute. That's 50 seconds for a minute of gameplay. So it takes me almost 20 minutes a period to play.
Right.
And then if I get a goal or whatever, then I got to figure out the assists and write it down. So no, I can't do on that game. I like that. It's my favorite hockey PC game for hockey. But it's still an hour. No matter what I do, it's still an hour.
World's worst gamer. Okay, I don't want to jump ahead. I know you're reading.
Yeah, I'm coming down here. And Vinny says full play is the most rewarding for him. Yeah, it is. But again, sometimes you don't have time for full play.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to sit down and play a game of Apple football every day, or a game of Apple hockey or Hockey Bones or whatever it is, and and just season ticket football, and just whatever, do the long play game. But just sometimes I look like, man, I either don't have the time or just like the physical energy. Like today, I was exhausted from yesterday, 16 hours.
You just want to roll maybe a quick game, right?
Yeah, so I might have played something real simple tonight, but even something simple is just not going to happen. That's why tonight I'm just kind of chatting about some things we could do. All right, I need to get back to my point with you before.
The
mystique. Okay. And PJ says shootouts 15, blast is 30, in the crease 60, APA 80, strat was 60. You're a little quicker than me. Although if I use the Excel spreadsheet, I can do the APA really fast. I really can.
Yeah, strat I could do in less than an hour.
And Dwayne comes by. Good to see Dwayne coming by. And let's see here. And he says he loves when the rebounds pile up and blast. Yeah, because you start. That's when the crappy guys can actually get goals because you start adding the stars and they take away from the scissors, And so that's what happens. And Vachon stood on his head.
Speaking of that, he did. Yeah. Phil was peppering him, and he was coming up with some big saves.
Has anybody tried the fast score football, the fast baseball? I'm not sure. If I did, I don't remember. And PJ's playing some hockey blast right now. If Vinny wants to try the quick, Vinny still hasn't tried the full quick decks, huh?
No.
Yeah, it's very similar to the highlight. It's just you don't add like 8 or 10 to the shot range like you do in a highlight because you kind of read. And sometimes it's just even, and sometimes you add 1, and so you get a lot of shots and a lot of saves.
And also your goalie is so in highlight. It's you use the rebound number in highlight.
Oh yes, yeah, that
in
too.
Full, you don't. You use his regular number first. Only use the rebound if it's a rebound.
Yep. Christopher says I'm not a fast player either. I keep plenty of stats, even plus minus, so it takes me longer than most to play hockey blast. Yeah, I think that comes into play in it.
Yeah, it must be plus minus, sure.
Yep. And PJ's playing 94 and 96 are his teams, and he posted that on Delphi. Let's see what else we got here. 86, Harry Carson with the interception for the Giants. So Joe, settle down.
That's my all-time favorite Giant. Harry Carson is my all-time favorite Giant.
Joe's gonna have to settle down. He's all excited now. All excited. Christopher says, when I was in high school, I did stats for a high school team and did the plus minus then. That was a challenge to get all the players down before they changed after the goal. Yeah. Nowadays, the replays and stuff, it should be good. PJ said with the Hockey News Archive, more WHA info can be gleaned. Yeah, it is. But again, that's what he was saying. He goes, does he have to sit down and go through every old hockey news and every box score to try to figure things out?
That's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, so that's the work he was talking about. He says it is possible, but holy cow. SJ comes by and says the biggest thing I would change is the kind of hang on a sec here. That only a champion would be. I'm having trouble reading this.
I would change the kind of true today that only the champion of any given sport is a winner and everyone else loses. I think you can have a great year without being number one.
No, I think you're right with that. I think what he's trying to say is that so many people rely on the championships. Like, this guy didn't win. Dan Marino didn't win a title.
Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
And Hall of Fame election.
So if you don't win the championship, then you're a loser. I will agree with that. I think there's too much emphasis.
I agree.
Placed on the winners. Do you know how many Super Bowl quarterback winners we have that are terrible?
85 Bears.
And you're just like, I can't believe that we have so many Hall of Famers. But, if we're going to just go by Hall of Famers, by champions, we should have some guys in the Hall of Fame that are terrible quarterbacks.
Right. And the same thing in baseball. One of the things I can't stand is, he never hit 500 home runs. Are you kidding me? I don't think that should be a prerequisite to make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think
got to hit over 500 home runs.
I just think that's become a thing in the last 25 years.
Yeah,
because we were kids, we never thought twice. Like, I never thought the Red Sox were losers because they didn't win the World Series. I never thought the Bruins were losers because they didn't win the Stanley Cup. Sox got to the finals a couple times. Even in '86, they got to the finals and lost. We didn't walk away saying
1990 to '94 Buffalo Bills, great teams.
I don't consider them losers.
They made it to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. Are they losers? Yeah, they didn't win, and they'll never be remembered because of that. But I agree with you. They were great teams.
But nowadays, it's like it's all or nothing. It's like you have if you don't win the championship, you had a bad season.
Yes.
And it drives me nuts when I see these coaches before the season starts, especially in football, saying our goal is to win the Super Bowl. Well, that's every team's goal is to win the Super Bowl. But let's not make that the the bar for success for a season is winning the Super Bowl, because only one team out of 32 is going to win that Super Bowl. So let's tone it down a little bit and say, just because you don't win the Super Bowl, it's not a successful season. For some teams, winning 5 games will be considered a successful season. So yeah, I will agree with that, SJ. That the idea of making everybody, if you don't win the championship, then
you're a loser.
Yeah, you're a loser. I never like that. Like when people call Dan Marino a loser, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, it takes more than one guy to win a championship.
In the world. He's my favorite quarterback of all time.
And how many players, well, no matter what sport it is, has won a championship? You look at that player, it's like, I don't consider you,
the quarterback for the '85 Bears.
Yeah.
Well, guy had a great season.
It was okay.
I'm not taking away. He did win a Super Bowl, but he's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he was okay. Yeah. Sports Time Machine says, Mike Ignatowski's Excel spreadsheet's great for Strat Hockey. I need to get back to that. I really do. I want to check that out. I really do. And Gus says, as a Bills or Red Sox fan, I've seen once loser tag
get tossed in the trash. Want the other one to go.
Yeah, you want. So the Sox won plenty of World Series now. They can get rid of that. All right, so let me get back to my mystique with the World Series talk. Okay, so let me get on my list here. Okay, let me get on my list. All right, so we talked about for me for hockey, I would like the shootout gone completely and make that overtime, regular season overtime, 3-on-3 for 10 minutes. And again, if you wanted to maybe make it to a point where it's only sudden death in the final 5 minutes. If somebody scores a go-ahead goal in the final 5 minutes or final 2 minutes, call it a game. But if somebody scores in the first 5, pick a number here, early in the overtime, we continue play. I think that would be an exciting period of hockey. But again, just get rid of the shootout and make the overtime 10 minutes. So that would be my hockey. For baseball, I like capping extra innings. It's something I'm okay with ties in baseball. I really am. I want the game to end. And I'm not crazy about the ghost runner and a few other things. I do like the pitch clock. But it's a regular season game. It's a regular season game. Okay. It's Wednesday night. It's midnight. Give it 9. If you can't decide at 9, give it maximum of 3. So you get 9 batters. Everybody gets the bat one more time, maybe, and that's it. After 12, we're done. So that would be my baseball thing is just to fix the regular season extra innings. Playoffs, that's fine. Even for hockey, playoffs, keep the playoffs the same as they are now for hockey and baseball. So I'm okay with baseball ties. For basketball, we need to do something about that. The 3-point shot. I like your idea of once you go inside, that's it. You've taken away the chance for a 3-point shot. I also like the idea of penalizing too many missed 3-point shots. That if you miss so many of them, then you're penalized because it's asinine the way it's going on right now. Everyone taking the threes. I think if you start missing some of them, you need to pay the penalty and get back to playing real basketball, not a 3-point shot contest. And as far as football, I think I've gone over what I like in football. I like the old kickoffs, and I do like the idea of everybody getting the same amount of possessions in overtime. I think that's only right. Getting back to my World Series mystique. So Joe was talking about earlier about how you like the idea of 2 teams that haven't met in the regular season meeting in the World Series, and it's kind of a mystique because you don't know anybody in the whole bit. I would love to see all 4 major sports do away with the matchup system they have and go back to, with hockey and probably basketball, 1-16. 1-16 was you sorted out the weaker teams quicker, and you set up better matchups in your final 4 by getting rid of the weaker teams earlier. Football, probably the same way.
So you like that 1 versus 16? Okay.
I
Yes.
always
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
I loved it, like when you saw like the Flyers and the Rockies and the
Yeah.
Bruins and the Kings and and the Canadians and the Vancouver Canucks, and it was over in 3 games
Hmm.
because Vancouver barely makes the playoffs as the 16th seed. To play in the top seed, they should get wiped out.
Okay.
Instead of Montreal playing Buffalo because they're in the Adams division and Vancouver getting a cupcake game against the 1 seed in their division who has 2 more points than them because it's a terrible division. And
I'm with you. I like that. I like that 1-16.
I've never been a fan of, and when they switched it now, and even with football, it's always, East versus West or
Hmm.
AFC, NFC. Yeah, back in the day, some of the best playoffs were the Western Conference Finals when you had Detroit, Colorado, or Detroit, St.
Hmm.
Louis. Those are the ones. And then you went to the Stanley Cup, and the Stanley Cup was always junk. And the same with football. We had many years of bad Super Bowls.
Super Bowls. Yes.
And the title games, the NFC, the AFC title games were the crap. They were the crap. So I would love, in fact, I've always talked about, and if I ever get back to some kind of replay, if I had time for something, I would love to do a 1-16 playoffs and play it out because that's, to me, that's what it is. You play all year and you want your best teams playing your worst teams. And at the end of it all, you want the 2 best teams facing off. You don't want the best from this side playing the best from
Best
this
from that.
side.
Yeah.
So getting to your point about the World Series mystique, I love playing everybody. And I like the fact that, you get 2 teams that are meeting up in the finals and maybe they did play in the regular season. I don't like that mystique. I like the fact that, they played a couple of times this year and this team won them both. And now they know each other and now we're going to have a good finals. Aside from like, okay, so, we have this World Series between, the Yankees and, the Padres. Don't know anybody on the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
They never came to town. Who are they? But you have imagine the Yankees Red Sox World Series, right? Imagine that for a second.
It could listen the way they're restructuring. It may not be far off.
But just imagine that for a second. Imagine the ratings for the World Series, not the ALCS, the World Series. You got the 2 best teams.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a Brady Manning Super Bowl back in the day, right? I mean, imagine, maybe not this year, but last year, Bills Chiefs Super Bowl. I mean, was that not some of the best playoff games you've seen? Was Bills Chiefs compared to the Super Bowls that we've got?
Oh yeah.
So picture getting your 2 best teams, no matter where they're located, in the finals to play each other. So I'm a huge fan of the 1-16 or whatever format it is that you look at the whole league and you seed every playoff guy, and that's how it is. And also, picture let's just say in hockey, you got some team that's 500 or just above 500 getting in the playoffs, while you got teams that are way better. Even in football, how many times have you seen a team that's 10-6? And they don't get in the playoffs, but a team that's 8-8 wins a division and gets in.
Mm-hmm.
You take the best teams and put them in your playoffs.
The difference is in football with all the other 3 sports, everything in football, it's a 1 and out. When you get to that playoffs, it's a 1 and out. Where the other, like the other sports, you have that, you could lose that game 1. So any given Sunday in football, that Cinderella team could win. But back to yours, if you do the best, like you saying 1-16, that Cinderella, they might have a chance, but odds are they're not going to because they got to win 3 out of 5 games or 4 out of 7 games.
But even with football, if you think of it with football, so you got the Chiefs, they're the number 1 seed. Let's just say that, they played a team that squeaked into the playoffs, New Orleans Saints or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans was like the 6th seed in the West or something like that. But still, they were better than any of the AFC teams. Now the Chiefs destroy the Saints, which they should, because if you look at the last few years, the wild card round, since they've extended the wild card, they're blowouts, and
Mhm.
it's like why show up and just get beat? So the opening round of the NFL playoffs, they've been dogs the last few years.
Yeah.
It's really favorite to just win most of them, if not all of them. It really has been kind of bad, but especially for hockey and even basketball, and I would say even baseball. I mean, but how cool would it be to have, you know, like I say, Yankees, Red Sox in the World
Yankees, Red
Series,
Sox,
or you know,
Dodgers, Giants.
yeah, yeah. How about Yankees, Giants, Dodgers, Red Sox Final Four?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I really that I've always just liked it, and I get you're trying to set up divisional rivalries during the season, and that's why you have the, you know, the Cowboys and the Eagles and the Giants play each other a million times and the whole bit. Same with hockey, but I've always been a fan. So I get what you're saying about the World Series mystique. Two teams that never met each other playing each other. For me, there's no build up because they're like two people that never met. It's like a blind date. For me, I don't dig that.
Yeah, it all depends on your perspective of a blind date.
But again, I don't know how many times that it
No,
was
I know what you're
in the
saying.
'90s we had the Red Wings and the Avalanche,
Mhm.
beating each other up, and
Beating
then
each other up.
the winner goes in and just walks through the finals. It's
Mhm.
like, was it that year that Florida went to the finals and Colorado swept them? The series before that, from what I remember, was the series, and I forget who it was. I'll look that up real quick. Um,
Oh, yeah, look, 93, 94. Look at 93, 94, right? The Rangers get in, they blew away, they blew through the Islanders. They get to that Devils series, and that's two teams that played each
yep,
other all year long, right? And
yep,
it was a dogfight.
yep. So we had Colorado, Detroit in the conference finals. That was phenomenal. Phenomenal. 4-2 Colorado took it. Then they swept the Panthers. Boring. Good for the Panthers that they got there, but
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
that would have been the matchup. Even going back a little further here, let's go to 80-81. You had the Islanders and the North Stars. The North Stars went on a run, right? What if you had the Islanders Canadians or the Islanders Flyers?
Hmm.
And the thing is we did have Islanders Flyers one year, right? 79-80 was Islanders Flyers.
No,
Yeah,
was it?
yep.
No, 70,
78-79 was Rangers Canadians.
Rangers, Montreal, right,
I think that was the year that the Islanders turned it around, and then
that was their first year that they won the cup.
yep, and then after that, I think that's the year they went with the 80-81. Was that the year that they went?
They
Yeah,
changed it up.
Yeah, I think they went. Yeah, that's the year I think that they went east-west,
Yes.
Wales and I think that's what it was. So we've never been able to have a Boston Montreal or a Boston New York series or a Detroit Colorado ever since.
Right.
And I think it should be the two best teams, not just the best team from this conference and the best team from this conference, because
I'm with you, Dave.
I always liked it. Again, that's and I always said if I ever did something here, I would set up a playoff like that and play it out and just have some fun with it. Just have some fun with the best versus the worst, and so that's the other thing I would change in all sports. I would, and I guess you'd have to work on the schedule because of the
Yeah.
schedules can be uneven, and you want to play more divisional games, I guess. But I'm so glad the NHL kind of at least did something with their playoffs because the old joke for us up here in Boston was, we play 82 games of NHL regular season just to eliminate the Quebec Nordiques. And then it would be, okay, Montreal 1, Boston 2. So Boston was guaranteed to play either Buffalo or Hartford just about every year, unless Quebec snuck in over Hartford. But every year we play Buffalo like 20 times, and then we play Buffalo in the playoffs. It's like I'm buffaloed out. I'm buffaloed out. I have no care of watching this game because I'm buffaloed out. And so for me, if we can play some different games, and now so you eliminate the bottom 8 right away. Now you have the top 8 going at it. I think that's the way to go. And if somebody happens to get a fluke win, that's fine. But I like to win the 16. I really do, and so that's the way I would do it with the playoffs. That would be my biggest change, I think, and I think we get some exciting matchups. So.
Okay.
And
All right.
Cutter's asking about the Toronto offense. I don't know about the Toronto offense. And yes, that was the Bobby Nystrom goal.
Everybody's 3 games into the season. Everybody's panicking already.
Well, that's what we
Ranger
do.
Fans and
That's what we do. Is we panic. That's what we do. That's what we all do. But anyway, so yes, we'll jump out here. We just a little Sunday night chat. Wanted to have some fun talking to some people about what are your ideas? Again, if you're catching us after the fact, what one thing would you do in a sport to make it better? So you're the commissioner. Again, they appoint you commissioner, and what's one thing you're gonna do that we're not even gonna take a vote? You're just gonna, we trust you to make the game better. What are you gonna do? It was pretty amazing. The comments is reverting baseball back to the way it was before all the changes. Except the pitch clock. A lot of people did like the pitch clock. They did like that, but the ghost runner and the pickoff things and a couple other things didn't go over too well. But
right.
yeah, I'm wondering if they will get rid of the ghost runner. I kind of wonder, what'll happen with that. But anyway, so let us know what you think. We had some of our ideas, and just kind of had a little fun sports chat tonight. That's all this was. So just a bunch of people yelling at the clouds. That's what we do. It would be funny if some of our ideas were actually implemented. That'd be kind of fun. Oh, Thomas comes in late and he says, "Play today's schedule back to 72 in baseball." When do we play today's schedule back to 1972 in baseball? Mean like playing in reverse? Is that what you mean like that? I'm not sure what he means by that. Yeah, thanks for coming by, Barbara. Yeah, we just kind of just some old sports guys just kind of rambling over here, talking about what we like, what we don't like.
Some old traditionalists.
Yeah, and that's where that's where this comes in. You got the old guard that like things a certain way. And then you got the younger guys coming up, and it's like, what are we going to do with that? How do we get younger people involved? I mean, it's the horse and buggy went by the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
No one sells the horse and buggy anymore. So I mean, sometimes they have to do that. Okay, Thomas says, "Oh, the 2025 schedule with the 72 APBA baseball cards. Well, that'd be interesting. But what about But you have some teams that didn't exist,
right? So you'd have to less teams.
Yeah, so you'd have to figure something out. Oh, unless what he's saying is, you think what he's saying is, maybe what he's saying is take the 72 season and play everybody, and see how it goes.
Oh, I see what he's saying. Yes.
Oh, so maybe that's where he's going. So let's play
cross leagues. Let's play Yankees, right?
That's actually not a bad idea.
It's not.
I think, again, imagine the matchups that you could get and the things that you would have, and
then do your way in the playoffs. Take the best
1 to 16.
Yeah.
That's actually not a bad idea. Is to play everybody against each other. Some people actually do that. Some people actually will have a little tournament and they'll play everybody against each other, and I think that would be kind of fun to do. Again, I like variety, and I like the fact that different people, superstars and other teams, you get to see them, because I didn't see them as a kid. We didn't have cable TV, so we didn't we didn't get to see all that stuff. So I heard about the Winnipeg Jets. I never saw them. I heard about Gretzky, never saw him. And so when they met in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's like, well, we didn't know these guys. It's like we didn't get to play them during the season, and then when they finally did allow us to play them during the season, it's like, oh, good, finally, somebody besides the Buffalo Sabres is going to town. It's like, again, I don't know how many times I would look at what do I want to get for tickets? It's like, I don't want to see Buffalo, I don't want to see Quebec, I don't want to see Hartford. Montreal can't get tickets for. Maybe Flyers or Rangers or something like that, but it's just.
Rangers, right? Islanders, Rangers.
Yeah, there was some good ones there, but there was some, it's like
there was some dog games.
Yeah, but it's just if Solani comes to town with the Jets, that would be fun to see. Messier with Vancouver, it might have been fun to see, but they never came, or at least they didn't for the longest time.
Never had that jersey on, but that's for another show.
To do the Joe Messier show. Maybe we'll have that be the first issue of Sports Crime.
That was a crime with him with a Vancouver jersey.
We should do sports crimes. There's party fouls and now sports crimes. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope you enjoyed our little discussion tonight. Hope you get something out of it, and we will catch you next time.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.